darkness, the Bulldogs lost their way, losing everything and forgot how to play. Along came the kid with long blonde hair. His name is Jeff Preston. Do not despair. Doggies fans, are you ready? Ready? Yes, we are ready. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Prestomania, mania, mania. Prestomania, mania, mania, mania. Prestomania, mania, mania. Memories of Barrett's boys hurt us as we hang our heads in shame. Des and Deeb left us without a blue sky, and most scapegoats to blame, but the rival of Presto and a new hungry Bulldogs breed will leave these nightmare memories for dust as they look for opponents to meet. Doggies fans, are you ready? Ready? Yes, we are ready. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Prestomania, mania, mania. Prestomania, mania, mania, mania. Prestomania, mania, mania. He came in 2023. He won all the awards and embarrassed some frauds or free, tackling until his last breath, running harder than much bigger men. Prestomania has led the way. Prestomania is here to stay. Prestomania, mania, mania. Prestomania, mania, mania. Prestomania, mania, mania, mania.
G'day, Doggies fans, All Things Bulldogs. Welcome to episode 18. It's Team List Tuesday. It's a bye for the Dogs. It's a bye for New South Wales Cup for Jersey Flag, represented by junior rep teams this weekend. And we've got our legend called Gas 23. He's got a beautiful hat on. How you going, buddy?
Welcome, mate. Very good, mate. Welcome, everyone. Tuesday night. Countdown to the Dogs starts again, guys. We're, a week and a few days away from going to round 3, and looks like we'll be moving up the ladder this week as well. So there's a few teams playing each other that have had 2 wins, a win each. So, which means one of them will lose. So we'll move up from 8th spot by the time this weekend's over. So looking forward to that.
It's a countdown to Canberra. Look, part of me feels like I keep thinking I've got to get revenge against Canberra, but we've won the last 2 games. I said that on my walk today. But look, guys, welcome to everyone who's come on so far. We've got Scary79. Welcome to you, champion. Ryan or Jareg. And Lucas, welcome to you. And it's a special night tonight. We are raising funds for Soldier On's March On for veterans' mental health. So any super chats we raise tonight, guys. So if you're going to give super chats, we really appreciate it more than ever tonight. Half that money will go towards, will go in a total donation from All Things Bulldogs and Dogfather Media, blah, blah, blah. What will happen is we'll donate that. I'll do that straight away, and then it'll come in later on and whatever else. But anyone who does that as well, that money also contributes to the Vegas jersey, if that's the jersey you want. So it's a total value of $150. So once you get your $10 worth, you've already got a ticket. Thank you, Ryan. He's already put $10 in. That's got him another ticket as well. And the fact he's also a member, it doubles up every $10 you put in. So obviously we really appreciate it. But the money that comes out of that super chat, minus the taxes, half of that money is going to Soldier On to get to our target of $1,045 which is really, really important. Just quickly, guys, veterans, mental health, people who come back from service, 30-year-olds are twice as likely to commit that, act that you can't change once it's happened more than any other person. So, beautiful, guys. Thank you for starting us off, guys. And, as usual, we'll do something as well. We'll have a random draw as well and send something out, as well as getting tickets. We try and give back everything that comes through as much as we can. And it's the same people so far that are always putting in. Much appreciated, guys. We've got Showy68, Sean, James. Just saw that nice car you got going too, James, the Ford. Good to see a Ford that's going to be back on the road. We've got Lucas and Ryan. So that's already, what's that, $48 already, guys. So we're already near the $50. So that's bloody fantastic. And we've only been going for 6 minutes. So we'll keep it going, guys. We will refer to it a few more times. But we want to talk a lot of football tonight, but we also want to raise some money. So really appreciate that so far, people. And make sure you tell us a lot about what you think's going on. We're also going to have a little bit of a quiz today. Dave's done a deep dive. He's done some funny stuff lately, which you see on the tile for this YouTube, this podcast, episode. It's got Barley Hayward's got something in store for Milky. Well, Milky's got something in store for Ricky's Raiders. It's quite funny. I loved it. Beautiful, James, and it looks brilliant, mate. Can't wait for you to get on the road with it, matey. So look, we're going to have that quiz later on. That's going to be for everybody to play at home. We'll bring the answers up. It'll be multiple choice. It's only 5 questions, and see what people know, what their knowledge is of the Bulldogs and the Raiders. Now, also hoping to have an exclusive interview for next week. An ex-Canberra Raiders player to have a chat with. So, look, I hope it works out that way. They've agreed to it, but let's see if it actually happens. Very busy person who's getting a lot of attention at the moment in social media. How are you going, Gas?
Very good, mate. Very good. Thanks a lot, guys, for your support. It's for a great cause, guys. So for those jumping on and having a look, by all means. Thank you, Jack. Thanks, guys, for that support. So Michael's been doing his walk every day. He goes live most times. He's out there walking. So it makes it easier when you've got company out there, guys, and people to talk to just keep those legs moving. So so it's a great cause. But we had some fun out on Saturday. We went out to see the guys at the New South Wales Cup, which we saw a good game. And I think for those of you who might have jumped on, Michael went live as well and was broadcasting a little bit from Bar TV. So that was a good game to keep us with the blue and white fix for the week. It's a long break, 19 days. So, some of us were just itching to see the blue and whites running around. So off we went, sat in the grandstands and had a good look at the game. So, but there was some very, very good things to see in that game as well. So not sure if all of you or any of you saw the result to that game. So it was a win by the Dragons, 14-10 over the Bulldogs. But it was a close game. It was only decided in the last few minutes. And, we had, a couple of outside chances at the end there to get them, level the score, maybe kick a goal. But overall, there was a lot of good individual performances there for the Bulldogs. A lot of players sort of put their hand up to play some big minutes. I think the coaching staff left them out there as well for that reason. Some players were, needed to get some legs going and get ready for opportunities that may come up in first grade. So the coaching staff were doing well to do that. Some really good individual performances. Obviously, Jonathan Sewer scored all our points. Scored a try in the corner, then took a very smart intercept. It's one thing to knock the ball down. It's another thing to know that you're going to sort of knock it down and regather it, or sort of knock it up a little bit. So that was a very smart intercept he took, and dashed good part of 50 meters to score under the post at that time and level the score. So good game. Some good individual performances there. If any of you have seen Farmy as well go, he went very well coming off the bench. Lipoi Hot Boy dominated the tackle count with the most tackles for the Bulldogs. 39 tackles. A lot of good individual performances there for our players. But it was a good game. We're still playing guys like Jed Ridden in the centres, and some of these guys are running very strong. You can see they're a step above a normal centre in their run lines and their meters gained, etc. So getting some good experience. But Zion performed well. AJ Jones had a big sort of moment early in the game in the 3rd minute. The halfback went deep into the line, and he came out and hit him in a solid tackle, and basically caused the halfback to cop a bit of whiplash. And that halfback ended up coming off for a head injury and didn't come back on for the game. So that was a very solid tackle. So it was very good play. But again, guys, it's not about the result for the New South Wales Cup at the moment. It's more about getting that team to all get their best foot forward to keep working. So I think if you look at the players we didn't have in the team at the time, so obviously we didn't have Inari Tawala, Jethro wasn't out there, Jake Turpin, Sean O'Sullivan, all these fringe players that potentially could be playing. Obviously Mitch Woods is still injured. So there's a lot of players missing from that team. And we did play a Dragons team that finished in the finals, deep in the finals last year. So, they did have some experienced players there, but our guys did very well. So, don't worry about the result of the game. Focus on the process and what the coaching staff would have been doing to get out of that game. But still
Exactly,
well supported. Yeah.
I'm going to show you the stats now because I really wanted to do a deep dive into this one. So I'm going to bring up some statistics for us. Look, when you watch a New South Wales Cup, it's round 1. You've got to understand what's actually going on there. You summarise that well, Gas. The team had been preparing while everyone was in Vegas, so they wanted to give those guys the run as much as they could. Obviously, the first 22 players, I think, from the Vegas squad didn't play, but the other 4 players did. So that would have been Tay, Jonathan, Cooper Toy, and Lipoi. Okay, so they are the only 4 that. Oh, and AJ, sorry. So he played as well. So have we got that up there now? Yep. Sorry, I just had a bit of a delay with what I was looking at. So look, we went live and did the and did the commentary watching it from Bar TV. Probably shouldn't have done that, but we did do it. Just for the second half, I kept the screen pretty small. I lost my crap at the end when Gordon Chan Kun Pong made a nice break, and then obviously got a call from the Dragons player, and this is when there's like 20 seconds left, and instead of going right, passing right, he's passed it left. Hasn't found himself in the clear too many times lately, Gordon, but did a wonderful job there. I felt he struggled early. But he made up for it when he came back on. But, yeah, I called him an idiot, and I do apologise for that. But, when you're watching the game, that's when it all comes out. Obviously, it wasn't, said in malice or anything. I was just in the heat of the moment. But I wouldn't go out and type it publicly like a lot of people do. Like, which is what we don't do here in All Things Bulldogs. But let's go through some stats. So Lipboy Hopboy obviously made 39 tackles. We were under the pump early. I think the most disappointing part of the match was the start. That first couple of minutes, Jed Reardon and Sasai Latini were both playing. Jed was supposed to be on the right edge. I don't know why he was over on the left for the majority of that set. I don't actually understand. It was obviously just a mix-up somehow, something they can laugh about later, but it really left us short. AJ Jones did a magnificent job to rush out of the line and smash Cade Reed. He did so with perfect timing, absolutely nailed the kid, put him into concussion. Now, I don't care what position he plays. It's rugby league. When you take it to the line, Cade Reed took it to the line like a quality halfback. He opened up the space and they scored a try because of the way that he did it. They had the numbers anyway. David Farley was never going to be stopped once he got the ball. But if AJ gets there a second earlier, or a split moment earlier, that ball probably doesn't hit the target. So he pinpointed that kid. He was going to build him. He was going to try and shut that play down, and he almost got there. They lost Cade Reed for the game due to a concussion, but they got Joey O'Neill to come on for the rest of the game. So Joey O'Neill is a professional in that grade, well suited to the New South Wales Cup, and will, with injuries and stuff like that, one day potentially gets to play NRL with the Dragons, which would be great for Joey O'Neill. So giving up that try in the end was probably the difference between the two sides. The Dragons were in control for the majority of the match. They had the better kicking game. Actually, I'll take that back. I'll reframe that. Alex Conti's kicking game was really good. It was strong. Much better than what we saw in that trial match. Obviously, had there's a bit of breeze there at Belmore, apparently, but it didn't really favour anyone. And his kicking game sort of kept us in it because we were struggling through the middle. We were outmatched. Like they were a much, on paper, a better side than us. But the Bulldogs showed that they're right up for it. And the individuals in that team, the back three did an enormous job. Constantly under pressure and just kept taking it up. The forwards were basically tackling their heart out. We didn't concede too much stuff in the end. So really happy with how they went about that. Jonathan Sewer, obviously 239 metres. Terrell Sloan's too good for that grade. Sewer, as Gas said, Sewer got all the points and Conti did good. He had that one drop after he got a 40-20, which that was class, that 40-20 that he got. But then he actually drops the ball just with a moment of concentration, a concentration lapse. But looking at, Jed had a pretty strong game. I don't know if Sasai played 80 minutes. He only played 41 minutes. Sasai, I don't know if he got injured. Had a couple of good runs. Joey Tayalpa took a while to get into the game, but we really struggled to have possession. Some strong running numbers there, 11 and 10 for the 13 runs for 107 metres. Looks classy. Fletcher Baker got away a nice offload early. We couldn't take advantage of it. He looks like he's going to be someone that's definitely going to have that in his arsenal. And if he gets an opportunity, he'd probably want to come on, and that's something that we'd love to see, bit of second phase play. Zion really struggled to get in a game like that where we're all defending a lot early. Really struggled. I think he come on again late, but maybe played in two stints. I'm not sure. They might have that. Yeah, he did. He had a 16-minute stint and he was gassed, and then had a 10-minute stint at the end. We had Logan Spinks obviously playing 80 minutes. Only had 6 runs, but that happens with our edges sometimes. Made a really good run, though, with a break. Lipoi defended his heart out, and AJ Jones had some nice moments as well. I felt Daniel O'Donnell did a pretty good job from dummy half when he came on. Jack Todd and I thought Jack Underhill and Femi Toilalo were really important in keeping us in the game, effort after effort. Jack Todd, couple of classy moments, but he's behind the 8 ball. Like, he needed that game to get some runs, and people have got to understand this. It's their first game. Some of these guys haven't had the full preseason as others had, and he really needed that game to get some miles in the legs. Because New South Wales Cup isn't about winning reserve grade. We're not in that realm anymore where this is our team to follow. This is a team of players that are ascending gas. You know what I mean? If we go for our team lists over the last few years, they're full of first graders and players that have played a heap of first grade. This team here is all emerging players. And that is what we want. We want players that are emerging, that are going to get their opportunity in the NRL. That's what it's about. It's not about filling your reserve grade team with fringe players. It's about having players that are emerging, that have come through the system, that have come for opportunities from elsewhere, and that they get a chance to provide valuable depth for our first grade side in all these positions. So I was quite happy. The team stats, you know, we didn't have the possession. Our completion rate was horrible. That was probably the worst thing. The amount of times we dropped the ball, both teams did. I think it was pretty hot out there, wasn't it, Gas?
Very, very warm on the field, guys. Yes.
Yeah.
It was very muggy, very, very warm out there. So you could tell the guys, big guys like Zion really struggled early on. You could see them gassed. Even Jack Underhill, for example, who kept trying his heart out. Every time he'd play the ball, he'd be on his haunches. He'd take forever to get up and play the ball. They were all really sort of exhausted with their efforts out there. So it was sort of a tougher game than usual. And, you know, it's still we're having a later summer still here, even though it's in March. But, yeah, the guys were feeling it out there. But, so excuse me, some of them were also, like Michael said, having their first sort of solid run. So, you know, Jack Todd's been, doing the, recovery training with the, sort of the recovery team. So we were even surprised to see him even named and starting, or, playing in the game. So he was very keen, guys. Even when everyone was sitting down on the bench waiting, he was standing on his feet, just on the sideline waiting till he finally got his chance. And, it was a slow start for him, but he sort of started to get going once he sort of, got the first bit of contact and the first few things under his belt. But yeah, it was a tough conditions for all the players there, especially the forwards. So yeah.
All right, so let's do a quick check on the chats, mate. So Amir wants to know who the fella is we've signed. So we've signed up Finafu. I can't pronounce his first name, but they call him Baby Critter. That's what we've named him. Macca named him that, and we're calling him Baby Critter from now on. Looks very much like Critter in Harold Matthews. We signed him to 2029. Now he come through the New Zealand pup system, that pathway we've got going through there. He moves well. He's got very, as I said, similar mannerisms to Critter. Puts the helmet on, puts the headgear on. It looks like it's the same bloke. Really good talent and has done an amazing job. And we've signed him up until 2029. We're going to take our time and get him through our system from Harold Matts, hopefully through to NRL, which is the aim. Very proud Tongan heritage. He's not related. He might be distant relation to Satili Tupanua, but he's they call him Fifi or Aki, actually. Aki Tupanua. Aki's his nickname. And we've an article come out about it today. I sort of done a summary of that, as well as some stuff that I wanted to add myself and put that on Dogfather Media for people to have a read. No doubt we'll be doing a big highlights focus on him in the coming probably next year I like to do it. SG Ball had a massive win over the Warriors. Very good for them to get some confidence. The return of Matthew Barakat to the side was very, very important. And I'll give you a quick look at those stats before we go into some of those other questions. I will talk about Don Williams' question in a moment because but we had the Bulldogs last week really climb up the ladder a little bit. 10 tries to 1. Wesley Papali'a-Foa on that right wing got a couple of tries early. Kaywan Patterson scores. He came from the Warriors. He's a fine hooker and someone to watch out for. Chinadu Uday, CJ made the break. And, couple of plays later, Kaywan scores. Finay Farley in the 31st. Zayn Alamadine, really good prospect. Big, rangy 5'8" with a lot of skill. And Matthew Barakat, him coming back to the side in the halves really helped. Bryantton going to fullback, much happier there than at halfback. And Jai Callahan moved to the bench, which is how they'll remain this week in their game against the Illawarra Steelers. So much improved game. Bryantton scoring 5 from 10 conversions. It was 20-4 at half time. Chinadu also set up a great try with a break. So it's good to see him get his first start for the season. Elaine's son, CJ, and had a good game. Joe Roke did a wonder. He's got a big future. He's a big Fijian boy. Scored a number of tries in Flegg last year. I'd suggest he's going to go back to Flegg once this SG Ball season is done. Paul Johnson, very classy on the wing as well. Lots of good players. Mace Andrew, named after Willie Mason, and a whole bunch of others. So it's good to see him get back on the board against a Warriors team that's had a fair bit of success and a lot of players that have done well over the last couple of years. So very happy to see this, people. So I think Harry didn't mean SG Ball. I think he meant Jersey Flegg there. He wasn't happy with what he subscribed for. Yeah, Jersey Flegg were very poor. The combinations just did not click in that first round match. They struggled. They've got a lot of talent in that side. I underestimated the Dragons, but I think if they'll be able to play that team again in 5 or 6 weeks, and I think that'll be a different result. I think they will get once SG Ball and everything's over. I think we'll see a much better team for that Jersey Flegg. Raymond Peru at fullback obviously can't do much in a team that's not winning the battle. Too many errors. Not even going to go through it. It wasn't a nice game to watch. But look, they were down 16-0 18-0 at half time, and they sort of grinded it. There wasn't much room. Nothing much was happening. With their attack, it was a bit disjointed, to say the least. And look at that. It sort of stayed that way, and then they conceded a couple of tries in the last 10 minutes after sort of not getting themselves back into that game. So, look, it is what it is. It's round 1. We'll see how they go. They've got a lot of talent in that team. They should be a semi-final side. Harold Matthews, I believe, will make the finals easily and do well. SG Ball still got a lot of work to do, but great that they got some confidence last week, and hopefully they can get a win against Illawarra. Don Williams, I saw that Gus replied to a question asking if there would be any more upcoming open sessions. He said that they wouldn't, as some fans overstep boundaries. Any ideas what overstepping was, Gas? Well, Gas, you've been asked the question, mate.
I Look, we spoke about this during the week. Obviously, we saw that. If you look at the open training session that they had before they went to Vegas, when they had that session, they specifically said that it wasn't going to be a signing day. It was just going to be there. Everyone come down to see the players, but not wasn't going to be a signing day. It eventually turned into a massive signing day. It was almost like an open day for everyone just to get, and all the players hung around, and the players ended up starting to give their training shirts away and all that. You can see some of them were leaving just in their sort of sports singlets, etc. So I'm not sure. Sort of Gus didn't really elaborate on that exactly, but even for what we did on the day, you know, we were going live. I was standing at times on the field next to the staff, the coaching staff. Nobody was saying anything. If there was any issue with anything that we had done, all the guys there know me. I know them very well. They would have reached out and said, hey, you can't be doing that. No one's reached out. No one's asked anything. So I don't think from our perspective we did anything wrong. I just think it went a little bit too far with all the players and the signatures and people screaming at them and everything. It sort of took away a little bit from the players trying to do their training session. So in the end, I think the players just wanted to sort of finish up because they have their recovery. They have a lot of stuff they do after that, and it wasn't something they just wanted to hang around with. Kind of disrupted their chain. So I'm not sure if that, but you know, from a perspective of what Gus was asking or commenting on, I'm not sure if even for him, if that was probably the best thing for him to say. Probably better for him to just say that we're not having anything at the moment, and and moving on with that. But if he's got something like that, he should basically explain, you know, what he means by that, so everyone's aware of what's going on. But yeah, look, I mean, I was even down at training last week on one of the days. There was no one else out there, and I managed to catch up with Leo Thompson and just had a chat with him, and then off we went. So there was no, you know, the phone didn't even come out for the whole session for anything. So it was basically just there to observe, see the boys train. Catch up with Leo. He gave us an update on how he was going. Very disappointed that he couldn't play in Vegas, but very pumped. His recovery is going well. Absolutely loving the culture, the team, everything like that. So very positive. You know, very happy. In the surroundings, and looking forward to coming back. I mean, I even said to him, "It's okay. By the time you get back, you know, you'll give us that." That impetus to take us deep into the season. So, you know, him being fresher in that time when we start to need him will be very good. So, but we also said, take your time. You know, we would all rather he be 100% and ready to start than come back and do another injury or not be ready. So, and he even commented on it on his playing last few seasons. So if you remember when he first got injured, there might have been a few people talking about him being injury prone, but we went through his statistics and we showed that he's only missed a couple of games in the last few years. What he's missed most is, unfortunately, it was a few suspensions. So last year he also had a 4-game suspension. And he missed he even said to me, he goes, generally I miss 1 or 2 weeks for injury. So this was disappointing for him, but probably shows, you know, at the end of a Bulldog sort of off season, how demanding it really is. So it really, really prepares you for the rest of the season. So I think that was very important for us, that off season. Again, we had Seraldo chasing his usual excellence, is amazing for us to see and to keep hearing. And guys, everyone who talks from the Bulldogs now, if you would have heard Bailey Hayward talking today, I'm sure you would have probably seen his interview. Listen to what he's saying, because the message is consistent across the board for all the players. When they even tried to suggest to them that the draw's been favourable, he dismissed that. The draw is the draw. Whatever we get as the draw, whatever we play, whenever it's the same, we have to play 26, 27 rounds, he said. So basically all the players, everyone have been trained to just accept whatever comes in front of them, whoever they're playing, whenever they're playing, whatever's happening, and just deal with it. You know, last year we had a softer draw. That's the truth. You know, our first, 10 games last year we had a softer draw, and it showed. We had a great start to the season. We won the first, how many games, and everything was flying. The changes we made were irrelevant. We had a great, draw that we made the most of, and we had to build ourselves into the back end of the season. And we said that in the off season, we said, guys, we need to be focused on making sure we get off to a good start. We've got a draw that's working in our favor. And some teams that could have been challenging in that time were also decimated by injury. I can tell you now, the Rabbitohs team that we will play on Good Friday is not the same Rabbitohs team we played twice last year. Completely different team, and it's going to be a completely different game. And that's, so to hear these players talk about, how they enjoyed themselves in Vegas, but they were just focused on the 2 points. That was the priority. And now that you've all had a bigger sampling size of the teams, a lot of you were critical of our game last week. Some of you, I'm not just talking about on our channels or people on other channels, were very critical of the performance because everybody had this preconceived idea that we had to win by 20, 30, 40 points. So anything less was a disappointment. I was never one of those, and you can go back through the tapes. I was never one of those. For me, it was all about getting that 2 points, as sluggish or as tiring as whatever it was going to be. It was just getting those 2 points and getting out of there. And now that you've had the other games played over the weekend, you would have seen how many games teams were up and down and inconsistent. And it kind of if you put it in perspective, our performance wasn't bad overall. Some teams were losing by 50 in the first week when they were, winning, the preseason cup, whatever you want to call it. Others were getting smashed by 50, and they've been talked up with new coaching, new everything. And then other teams who won premierships were kept to 0. So a lot of other teams to look at, but at the end of the day, that was an extremely important 2 points that we got over there. It was built up for so long about the Bulldogs Vegas trip. That's all it was, the Bulldogs Vegas trip.
We did it for 155 days.
We even pushed it and promoted it ourselves all the way through. So it was a big sort of, lead into that. And the expectation was enormous for all of us. Obviously for a lot of our fans that, that were fortunate enough to travel over there and enjoy themselves and see the win. It was a great result for them, but also that expectation by the players, knowing that they had so much support, so much on the line to deliver, and they got the job done. So extremely important 2 points. And, I've already almost forgotten about the process. For me, it's about the guys did the job. Doesn't matter how they did it. Val Holmes came out and was talking on the radio this morning, and he said, we had our chances. We didn't take them, didn't blame the ref. He goes, I should have kicked the kick from the sideline. We had our chances to win the game. We didn't take them. So that's how you would rather look at it, rather than when you look at, Flanagan's comments, and then he had to back it up. Even when he went to the NRL, they basically said to him, the strip was a strip, and the other one, it is what it is. It wasn't going to be overturned. So, Critters, tackle was a penalty, which it was. That was it. Stayed on the field, and everything else moved on. So, all these little things, guys, they just, things to, get into the media and get Flanagan's fighting for his job. Obviously, even though it's early in the season, he's trying to show, that he's there for the long haul, and he was disappointed. Just because they had a good game doesn't mean they were expected to win for them. So that's how they felt, because we were so close. It's disappointing we didn't win, but we got the job done. So that's the way. So So thanks guys.
Yeah, you went a bit off.
It's all right, mate.
Went a bit off track there, guys.
It's all right, mate.
It's not like I don't do that. You've been learning off me, mate. We'll get to Aki in a moment, but g'day to you, Aki, and Gas and Aki will be going down to watch the Souths versus Roosters, just to see if AJ creates history next week. It'd be great to see him create it against the Roosters, and then we can be done with it. And hopefully, I tell you what, Daniel Tupou might break that again as well. He's close enough.
30 behind.
Yeah, not far behind, and he can get 20 tries a year, so he could have 2 people break it within a couple of years. But I just want to finish off Donnie's question. Donnie, I just want to say that we've reached out to the club just to ask to get some clarity, because look, Gus is old school. He handles things the way he's going to handle them. Like I wouldn't handle it that way. I would have said the same thing as Gus. It's like we're not having any sessions at the moment. We've got a real focus on working on some stuff. We've got to keep it behind closed doors. Everything is intensive and it's not for viewing at the moment. We'll let you know when that will be, and we'll let you know the standards that we expect when people come to the training sessions and that sort of thing. A couple of things we need to work on as a fan base, just to make sure we're all on the same page. Gus has just gone out there. It's like the old school stuff. Like, okay, if you if one player stuffs it up, the whole team has to pay for it. That sort of mentality. I felt it was a bit confusing for some people. It probably made a whole bunch of people wonder. But all I know is the common sense these days isn't as common as people would like it to be, and people have different ideas about what is acceptable and what is not. For me, it's usually if you see people getting signatures and stuff, then everyone starts doing it. Obviously, after that last session, everyone went to Twitter that was there. There was about probably 10 or 11 questions sent to Gus about Leo Thompson. Is he in doubt for Vegas because he was training with the rehab team? I did an article on it. Like, why wouldn't you? And then Gus corrected that next day, said he's fine, he's ready to go. We posted that everywhere. He's fine, it's ready to go. And then obviously ruled out at the Maori All-Stars match. But I don't know if it was something to do with that, if the fact that people talked about what happened at the session. If it's an open session, anyone can get information from it. Obviously, they don't do things in great detail at these sessions. But maybe it was what Gus was saying, just people were getting into, just getting too involved too much in what they were supposed to do, because I don't know what the standards are, so I'm not sure how anyone else would. But, it's important that we get it right, because I know as fans, we want to do what the club wants. We want to support the team. They want to be supported. The main thing for us is the team winning, access to the players, and that's we're in one of the luckiest countries in the world where we actually get some access. Some kids don't get any access at all. So there's a lot of kids and a lot of adults in our supporter group who get way more than we're just so lucky as a supporter base that live in the area. It's been harder up in Queensland. They've only had one session in the last 4 or 5 years, I think. And that was the trial game against Redcliffe last year. So there was only one members day for that. It's been really hard at Magic Round. Usually we play first and then there's a game after us. So the guys can't, we've been lucky to have 2 or 3 players come to the Bulldogs section and just clap us, maybe get a couple of photos with people at the front. Like they spend 3 minutes because they literally have to get off the field. So it is hard. It is hard for people in other areas and stuff. But anyway, we will let you guys know as soon as we know what the expectations are, because obviously it's a real privilege to be able to go and watch them train. And obviously I think the players like it as well, but maybe sometimes we're just overstepping the mark. It could have been just some fans did some terrible stuff. We don't know. That's probably the problem with Gus's communication, is he's made us just wonder what's going on. So not too many people saw it. So I'm pretty sure that thanks for bringing it up, Don, because I'm pretty sure more people are actually going to ask Gus again, when's the next open training session, and he's going to repeat it again potentially. So
especially
hopefully
Queensland.
Club,
especially there's 4 games this year, so we should be doing one in Queensland this year. So that
Hope
question
so.
will be asked
Hope
a
so.
few times. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Welcome to Bulldogs, Mike. Lucas is looking forward to the game. Yeah, Showy, yeah, someone was the question was asked of Bailey. Basically we've got an easy draw again.
No, they're saying that the start, like we've got a favourable draw at the start. So the fact that we've got 19 days off, was a good thing for us. But, I'm sure the players will be absolutely kicking themselves to get out on the field and play. It's a long wait after, getting teased and playing one game. But
yeah, Gus said he was happy with it. And Serraldo wasn't because he'd already done his preparation based on 2 weeks. So it meant that he's had, he's lined up all his ducks and it's like, I've got to go and change it. So, but apparently he's come around good. Like Gus is like, it's great for recovery and all that sort of stuff. He said that before they went, actually.
Yep.
G'day, Joby. Good to see you, mate.
G'day, mate.
So, Joby, tonight's we've already raised it's $58 or something. 54, $52, 62, is it? So about $62. Half of the money from after taxes is going as a deposit for the March On for Veterans Mental Health. So I said we'll keep talking about just mentioning that. If you would like to contribute a super chat, you also for every $10 of super chats you do between now and next Tuesday, including next Tuesday's episode until the end, you go into the draw to win a Bulldogs Vegas jersey from the Bulldogs team store or any merch that you want to get to the value of about $150. So there you go. Boo! What's next? What are we talking about next?
You want to cover the teams at all today?
So it's team lists.
You want to go into a review about our next week's opponents as well for their first game so far? Very interesting game against the Eagles.
The Raiders, yep. So obviously we watched the Raiders versus the Eagles. Raiders didn't have the ball for the first 10, 12 minutes. Eagles, it's a very good comp. Anyone who sits there and acts like any team is shit, they don't know rugby league well enough. Oh, thank you so much, Joby. Beautiful, brother. Much appreciated, mate. So more money in the bank, guys. Thank you so much. And Joby's also got a ticket in the draw now. And he gets 2 tickets because he's a member as well. So for every $10, if you're already a monthly member, you get 2 tickets. So that's great. Thank you so much. What do you think Buller is doing at West? Do you think he will resign or re-sign? G'day, Timmy. Good to see you, mate. Oh, thank you so much, Scary.
Thanks, guys.
Are me and you having a fight again, are we? Or is it me?
I'm not touching, mate. You're doing it on your own today. You're trigger happy.
You're trying to scan the QR code, but I'm in the way. G'day, Teddy Bear Rogers 73.
Move your head, mate.
I know how to do that.
Scan away, guys. Scan the code. Scan the QR code up right just here. See, just there somewhere. Scan that code. So yeah, guys, it's a great cause that we're helping out. So Michael's been doing a walk every day. He's doing a couple of K every day. He's doing it for the whole month. So make sure you jump on, guys, and you support him. So he's basically donating today, half the money, which is all you get back from the donations. Once YouTube takes their cut, he's donating everything to the cause as well, guys. So he'll do that under one of the names of, Dogfather or All Things Bulldogs, whatever. So that's that's why so many of you have been very, very generous to start. But yeah, he'll be on. I'll just get Michael back on. There we go.
I'm trying to get away from the barcode.
Next time, move the barcode somewhere else, buddy.
Yep. So if you want to donate directly, you can scan the barcode, go do it directly, and the whole amount of money will go to the charity. Otherwise, you do it this way. YouTube gets a little bit, we get some, and the charity gets some as well. So that's hilarious. I did a magic trick, buddy. I did a magic trick.
G'day, Timmy.
Ordered it. Yeah, I got one too, James. I ordered it as well. The pink one. Gas wants one of them, don't you?
Yeah. If anybody wants to donate an extra large, by all means, I'll take it.
All right, we'll see how we go, guys. We'll see how we go, mate.
I'll wear it for you guys proudly, guys.
Well, apparently, it's tax deductible on you if I wear it on the podcast. So there you go. All tax deductible. This is all tax deductible. See all these jerseys? Tax deductible, fellas.
What's this hat you got on, mate? Timmy's asking about your hat.
Mick has pulled an All Things Bulldogs out of the hat.
Hey.
I feel like I want to put a Bulldogs hat on. But anyway.
Intermission, mate, during your halftime break.
Me dog father media hat.
Let's see what the guys are saying here, guys. Who's our next signing? Kangaroo Killer is asking. Who is our next signing?
External signing?
I'm guessing.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't think we really need anyone at the moment.
I think Buller's still in play. But, you know, we go sign Buller, then everyone will have a carry on about because of Peru and Bryonton why we're getting Buller. I don't think we're getting Buller. There's been talk of Ponga. I think the Bulldogs will, you know, they're just going to keep trying to get these juniors ready and have enough talent in their top 30 to keep winning games, keep competing, keep getting better. No, look, I watched the defense in those games on the weekend and I go, there's a few issues for a couple of teams defensively, but I'm not going to write off a lot of these sides. I think South Sydney and the Dolphins are both going to make the top 8. I have no doubt about that. How far they go will be determined by their defense. But what I will say is that if they keep those forwards on the paddock both sides, they're going to be extremely hard to beat. That Dolphin side is absolutely stacked. Now that they get, and Flegler's looking all right to me, and Gilbert's a bit, they're nowhere near ready yet, those two. You get Daniel Saifidi back into that pack, and all of a sudden Jake Averillo doesn't have to sit there in no man's land, and, you know, and Asako doesn't miss stupid tackles like he did on the weekend. I found that whilst the Rabbits were dangerous both sides of the field and they're only going to get better, they scored some arsey tries too that they're not getting every week. They're not getting them against us. But they will create moments against us, don't you worry. And they'll be able to score tries against us if we don't play well. We'll have to play at our best to beat them. In my opinion, they're that good at the moment. That's how they're going to go well, the Rabbit. Doesn't even mean they beat the Roosters this week. Don't write off the Roosters either. The Warriors scored probably 4 of the arsiest tries I've ever seen them score in my life. But their halfback played really well in Tanner Boyd. Someone that the Bulldogs have put a target on in recent seasons. They played a good game, Warriors, no doubt about it. But and the Roosters typically, as me and Joby were having a chat, just think they can drop the ball and win games. It's not going to happen. But yeah, I think there's so much depth in this competition. The Dogs are going to have to earn every cent of it. I'm hoping that our defensive system is even better this year. It looks good to start the season. I think that our attack, it looks to me a little bit crisper in certain things that we can do. And I'm hoping that come the middle of the season, we're starting to really hum in that area. Yeah, I watched Harry's video. He went and did a nice TikTok on Galvin. And it's sort of a case of showed a couple of his errors, his choices on against the Dragons, and I'm like, yep, he didn't execute, but that's fine. He's 20. If we watch all those kids, Katoa didn't execute everything well for the Dolphins. He did. Look, Katoa is at another level than Galvin as a halfback. Don't get me wrong. But Galvin is getting there, and he did a lot of things right as well. But if he continues not to execute those plays, or the time where he went to Preston on the third occasion, and Presto knocked the ball on, he didn't even look to go behind, and we would have had an overlap. I don't think we score because just with the field dimension and stuff. But the fact he premeditated, that was something that will need to be talked about, or he will work on. Obviously, if he does that and continues to do things like that, then he will come under scrutiny from a lot of people. But it's also got to be weighed up with all the good stuff that he's doing. And I felt that he did a lot of good stuff. I just think people get it in their minds that the guy's not a 7 or he's not a whatever. I don't care if he's a better 6 than a 7, because that's probably a better way to say it. The guy's a better 6 than a 7. Right now, there's just not another option that's better. And Sean O'Sullivan's not a better option at the moment. If he becomes a better option and it all clicks for Sean, that'd be wonderful. And if that makes us better, I'm all for it. But I'm going to trust Serraldo and O'Brien and JT and all these players, coaches and ex-players, all of them. I'm going to trust them to make the right call on that. Okay? Because Serraldo knows O'Sullivan, you know, and you can see it. Sean O'Sullivan is a great team, a great clubman. We're going to get so much value out of this guy. But to win a game by 1 point and then everyone, Galvin was good for half a game and then went missing. He didn't go missing. Had nearly 100 touches with the ball. That's not going missing. And Birdo played a normal type of, nearly 60 touches with the ball. Hayward had 135. And we only scored 15 points, I know. But it was that type of game. A lot of pressure. And we get to go to Canberra on a Thursday night in a warmer sort of time of year, which is should be nice conditions in Canberra, hopefully. Hopefully it's not pouring down rain or anything like that. And I'm really looking forward to how we match up against them, because they still have, when they get tired in the middle of the ruck, and it's a good time to play them because obviously they're not as fit as they're going to be later on in the year. We can tire these guys out a bit in the middle. Their edges, especially their right edge defense. We got them on the left there at left edge defense last year. But we can get them on the right this year. Right? So,
yeah.
I think we can get them both sides. If we can hold on through the middle and do our job through the middle, hold possession, kick deep, keep them under pressure. Don't allow KO Weeks to get, plenty of space to run the footy and stuff like that. And Xavier Savage and Tamale. Look, their back three is insane.
Dynamite.
It's dynamite. But if we control the game and do what we've got to do, I don't think we're going to see what happened to Manly happen to us in the same way. I really don't.
Even though the game is still 8 days, 9 days out, the prediction at the moment is for rain for that game from now. So obviously that could change, but at the moment it's supposed to rain from 6 p.m. And for the whole duration of the game. So, they had the advantage of playing in the rain against Manly that game. So they've got their rain legs on. But yeah. So you want to tell us a bit more about that game?
Yeah, mate. So look, Manly started on fire. Tommy Trebojevic looks like he's got a bit of speed back, and the confidence back. Took the line on, scores a try. Jake was obviously funny with his new headgear, working hard. He typically does some good passes and stuff. Only one who chased the field goal late that Sanders got. Sanders played a really solid game for, Canberra fans will be very happy with his performance. He did well last year in the couple of games he played, the 1 or 2 games he played. I felt that obviously, they tried to talk about it was the 6 agains that made the momentum happen, and the fact that we had an average of 8 6 agains this in round 1. Last year it was 5.75. I'm like, well, you're going to have more 6 agains if you're able to give more 6 agains. If you got more distance on the field or more area on the field where you can give 6 agains, you're going to give more 6 agains. Now, it works for narratives. I don't like the fucking rule. Don't get me wrong. But this narrative that we sit there and go, it's the reason there was momentum swings. Tell me, for how many fucking minutes did the Broncos lead any team throughout the final series? Tell me how long they held the lead for.
50 minutes.
Not even that.
Over the 3 games?
Over the 3 games.
Yeah.
They came from behind. They won in the final minute against the Panthers. I think they didn't lead the Raiders till they won it in Golden Point, I'm pretty sure. And against the Storm, I think, when did they hit the front in that game? With about
there was a bit to go.
Yeah,
a bit to go. Yeah. So yeah.
So not long. And so we're talking about momentum swings. They were down by 14 points against the Panthers. Like, who beats the Bulldogs? Were down 20-0 against the Raiders. So the momentum swings aren't dependent on the fact they've changed the 6 again rule. That can help, obviously, but as I said, teams like Melbourne deliberately give away 6 agains to set their line, so they can control the ruck and ensure their edges make good decisions. Yeah, I'll tell you, it was a big standout for the Raiders. Sorry to getting back to that. The new kid, the new guy with the mullet on the edge, did a great job. Martin, I think his name is. Wonder if he's the son of Tony Martin, who played for the Raiders. That'd be interesting to find out, actually. And now the Raiders have to go to the Warriors, don't they?
You're talking about Noah Martin?
New Zealand?
You're talking about Noah Martin, the one with the current hairstyle?
Yeah, let's get that up. Nothing's working fast for me tonight. Let's have a look at Raiders Warriors. Let's get it up on the. Let's get the team list up for that game. Can we see it? There it is. All right. Noah Martin. So you got Corey Horsburgh at lock, Aaron Clark, Jacob Laban, Kirk Capewell, Jackson Ford, Wade Egan, James Fisher Harris, and an interchange of Sam Healy, really good young hooker who scored a try against the Bulldogs last year. Vamulga looks like a beast. Lika Halasimo, we know all about him. Tanasiao Smith is a real good up-and-comer. Tane Tuapiki and Morgan Gannon, know much about Morgan. Joe Roddy, Dane Laurie, we know about him. Tomoko on the interchange with Adam Mariota has been developing in that system for a long time. Zach Hosking, very good player, son of the Mule from Manly. And Jaden Brayley, who's spent most of his career on the sideline since leaving the Sharks. No talk about the Raiders signing Jaden Brayley and letting a player like Fogarty go. But anyway. And we'll look at that. James Graham really stuck up for Galvin and the club and called out the hypocrisy. He's sitting there, Dobbo on Triple M, he's sitting there saying, we've got to give DC a break. Like any smart, I agree, you should give him a few weeks. And then, but James Graham, why would we? He's an international. Why would we give him he's played for how many seasons? Why does he get a break? No one was giving Galvin a break. You weren't giving Galvin a break.
Well, that was his biggest argument about Galvin. He just jumped on it. He didn't even let him finish his comment. He goes, no. He goes, last year.
And he goes, but DC is an international.
He goes, how many grand finals has Galvin won? Doesn't matter. There's a precedent been set. A precedent has been set.
But
last year you jumped all over Galvin. That's it.
But
it doesn't matter anymore.
Why would you have a crack at a kid that hasn't won a grand final, but give someone who has won a grand final an easy time? That doesn't make sense either, really. So Dobbo's an idiot. Can't stand him. So,
and I just had a quick look at the final series last year. I think I'm right. It's close to 50 minutes. They did lead early. They led early against Canberra, and then they scored in the 57th minute in the grand final. So they had other moments in the games where they were leading, and they led with 5 minutes to go. So it's close to 50 minutes, I think, without just doing a quick sum. So, but it doesn't feel that way. It doesn't feel that way.
The whole point is that there's momentum swings. That's the whole point. Correct. The whole point is that there's been momentum swings all through. The Bulldogs led the Broncos 14 or 16-0.
18-0.
18-0, and we lost.
Correct.
Momentum swings are everywhere in rugby league due to the way that referees manage the game. And I tell you what, it's worse in the juniors at the moment because the referees there, in Harold Matts and SG Ball and Jersey Flegg, etc., like they call the penalty, any hit of it, they just blow the whistle. There's no empathy, where I've always known in first grade when they say let the game flow, what they actually mean is let the players slightly breach each other and don't give penalties away that are penalties. That's what let the game flow actually fucking means. Don't call a penalty even though it is a penalty. Let it go. Don't pull everything up. Whereas the youngsters are sort of pulling everything up all the time. It was actually good to see someone give a penalty. So I think he gave Manly a penalty to tie the game up with the Raiders at the end there to go into Golden Point, where Fogarty kicked the 2 points. That was actually good to see that. Someone actually give a penalty when the game is nearly done, and not just put the whistle away because it's that time of the game. So, yeah. And that's another thing with the Bulldogs-Dragons game. Like, their blockers, they had blockers everywhere trying to stop us from stopping their field goals, but they weren't pulled up, you know. So... all right, let's see who's next.
Over here, mate. Timmy's asking, do you have the Raiders beating the Wars on Friday night? That's still in New Zealand, isn't it, that game?
Yeah, New Zealand, 5 o'clock. So tough start for the Raiders. They had to go to Brookie. They then 6-day turnaround into a Warriors game, and then a 6-day turnaround to a home game against the Bulldogs. I would consider that a tough start to the season for them. And, of course, they can win. I think the Warriors, though, we can't look at the Warriors like we used to look at the Warriors. People still make that mistake, in my opinion. It's very hard to let go of a team's identity. And that's the thing with us fans. A lot of us still remember our Bulldogs as who they were, not who they are. That Warriors team is from a team that tries to hold possession, doesn't take unnecessary risks, and tries to grind teams down. And any team that does that is hard to beat. They went off the ball. 2024, they didn't make the finals, but they were still hard to beat. Right? They're rarely getting flogged. They had some good wins that year as well. I think they've got a side that's obviously too many things open. I still felt that some of the tries they got were good. They were great. The tries from Savage against Manly, though, they were unbelievable. They've got so much talent, Canberra. Look, if Canberra put it together and they can maintain dominance in the middle and hold possession and don't fall away, that's their problem. They just been that little bit too top heavy, and they let teams back into games and games they should have won easy or looked that they were dominating in, they only just won because they continued to fall away. Something to do with their bit too heavy or something. I don't know, but their edges get exposed. And this side, the Warriors, has the team to bring them down. It's going to be a really good game. I cannot wait. I think it's one of the matches of the round, to be honest.
There's only the front rower that's got a head injury, like a week off. Papali'i for Canberra, that's missing.
Josh Papali.
Yeah, Josh Papali's missing. So, but that's disappointing for him because it's, every season he plays, that could be his last game in New Zealand. Who knows? Yeah. So he won't be playing that game. But yeah, look, even the forward pack of the Warriors is a strong forward pack.
I think he should have retired.
The one thing I can see from the Raiders is, I think now that we've only seen one game, but we've seen enough so far to understand why they let go of Fogarty. Not because of how good Fogarty is, but just for what you're paying for Fogarty and what you've got coming through. If you heard all the sort of stories about Ethan Sanders after the game, there was a progression to get him to that position, which is not current. We've spoken about this a lot, that current players don't have that patience to work through and play an extra season, getting themselves ready for that first grade proper. So he did a full season last year under the guidance of Ricky and everything else to get himself in the position to be the starting halfback. He was playing with Ethan Strange as well previously, so they've got that combination in lower grades. So he just came through a bit later. But when you let go of somebody like Fogarty, everyone say, "Well, why would you do that?" They obviously knew what they had in the bank, and they were working towards getting him there. which is what a lot of teams do with their youngsters. Sometimes you can keep them if they are happy to stay and understand that their time will come. Others get impatient, their managers get in their ears, and off they go. So we've had a few instances where we've lost some players, some have stayed. We've got a lot of great young players in there at the moment. So, everybody would have seen the other day, Conti playing well for us. Al-Madine was outstanding. I think he scored a hat-trick in that game as well. There's a lot of youngsters that we've got in the halves that are coming through. They just have to be patient, unfortunately. It's hard for them when they see someone like a Lachlan Galvin jumping in at 19, 20, straight above them into the team. But everyone's got a different level, different progression. Last week, I'm not saying it's the case, but last week, in Vegas, we saw a player debut at 27. It's not ideal. Cody Walker debuted at 26. He's played 10 seasons now. So it's not ideal, but you don't know when your time's going to come. You just have to be patient. And the Raiders have done that with this young player. He's going to have some good games. He's going to have some bad games, but his start was great. And he showed a lot of poise there in the end to get the job done. Even though if anybody was watching that game, the last 10 minutes, if you saw how many Manly people were heading for the gates, it shows you even they thought the game was gone. And then they pulled off 2 crazy tries and then got a penalty to pull the game back. It's just, NRL is, how good is it as a game to watch, guys? You just never know. You never know. We were obviously, we'd been out watching the Bulldogs, and I was taking Aki home. We were watching the game, and then he thought it was over. He messaged me going, "What the hell's going on? It's going to Golden Point." That's the that's the game that we're watching, guys. It's a great game. So so all those youngsters coming through, it's got something to learn from that. It's obviously you all want your opportunities, but sometimes if you get in there too early and you're not really ready, you could hurt yourself a lot more in the long run, because then you don't get those chances, and then your name's tarnished and he's not good enough, he couldn't do it, and off you go. But if you get yourself, look, someone like, for me, a Mitchell Woods as well, who's getting through, the Bulldogs are taking their time with him. He's the next man up. They're taking their time with him. Look, he's still getting his body right for first grade. But once he's ready, then, he'll be hopefully, showing the sort of potential that everyone keeps talking about and we keep seeing in what he's doing. But at the moment, he's still good for his level. He's outstanding for his level, but he still needs to get, match ready and body ready for first grade. Where someone like a Galvin has already got that sort of, fitness and everything, and can cop a hit and give a hit, and he's still coming out the other side. He's still learning. So, but not all 20-year-olds at the same level. So, for all the youngsters out there that are still working and coming through, and for all the parents out there, keep the patience with these kids, keep them working on their skills, keep them coming through, because it's you're there for the long haul. And at the moment, guys, most players now are playing well into their 30s. If you remember the old days, 30 was the limit. 30, 31, that's it, retirement. Now they're going well past. Who would have thought Cherry Evans, after playing 100 years with Manly, would still go and sign with the Roosters, after 17, whatever seasons. And look at Cameron Smith, still at the top of his game, all the way playing in a grand final in his last year. It's changed training, performance, everything that they do now, it's changed. So 35 now is the new 30, which is why a lot of players are still signing contracts. So you just have to stay patient, guys, and just keep working. And you got to work really hard, because the competition is fierce. It's absolutely fierce out there. So keep pushing, keep trying, keep getting yourselves ready. But for all the youngsters out there, and for anyone who knows all these youngsters and sees them, just tell them, work their ass off. Keep themselves going, because they will get their opportunity one day. And if their time comes and they're absolutely ready, they will absolutely kill it. So some of them have the patience, and some of them have the managers that just want them to get somewhere. Look at some of the young players that we've lost from the Bulldogs that have been keen and ready to play more first grade. They've gone to some other teams now. They're still not even nowhere near it. Skelton's nowhere near the first grade. He's still on the outer. Wilson's not. There's a lot of players, guys, that will leave and go, and they're not going to get their opportunities all the time. You know what I mean? So they'll be getting a sniff, but they're not going to be easily just walking into teams. So, yeah, it's just each player, has to work on his skill, and hopefully they keep that communication up with their coaching staff so they know exactly what they're working on and what they're trying to do to make sure they keep getting better and better. And always, if you're out there and you're listening, make sure that you're the last one off the field in training, guys. But not just stand around waiting. Make sure you're the last one off, doing all the hard work, doing all the extras, showing that you want to be, that next player, which is what, when I go to the training, I see what those guys do. I see the guys stepping off last and what they're doing, the extras they're doing well after the team's gone into their recovery. These guys are still out there doing their drills, doing their extras, and doing all sorts of things. So it's not a fluke, guys. Nothing good is going to come just on the field. That's going to be only a small percent. It's this big chunk, like every elite athlete, that you do off the field before you even get to the game day, is where everything gets delivered. So anyone who's played high level sports knows this. So yeah, Michael, what do you got now?
Thanks for that, mate. Look, I think the big question out of that is, yes, they've kept they brought Sanders from Parramatta. They'd already got Ethan Strange. They've bought young kids. They've developed their own young kids. They've been developing a core of players for a number of years, and they've got a team that's solid enough to be able to bring that guy in. They would have kept Fogarty, I think, Actually, I don't think they had any intention of keeping him, to be honest. They gave him made him an offer, but I think that was more just to make sure Manly paid a bit more. I think Fogarty's a good signing for the Seagulls, considering what they lost, and he did a good job on the weekend, and he's still a developing halfback, a halfback that started late in his career, which people need to understand that as well, like Cody Walker. And one thing about Fogarty to me is that he's never shied away from the moments. He's just failed to execute a lot of moments in big games. And the fact he's still there and still trying, good on to him. And I think Fogarty's a type of halfback that in the right team could do a good job. Sanders is obviously, as you said, he's been learning his craft. They know what they've got. Obviously, they've got a few halves in their squad coming through their juniors that are very good. They just had to let one go. Forgot his name because it was just, obviously one too many there sort of thing, bit like the Bulldogs. But that's what I want people to understand as well, is that, we've got a kid called Galvin at the moment, whether it's Mitch Woods, whether it's, Barakat coming through, Alex Conti, Joseph Tayalpa, all these players, Alamadine.
Zayn Alamadine, yeah.
What's his name? Azed.
Zayn Alamadine.
What's his first name?
Zayn.
So we've got Azed and Alamadine who's just, what do we think of the SG ball team?
Azuddin.
Hopefully that's your brother or your son or your sister, or sorry, not your sister. He had a wonderful game and scored 3 tries, as Gus said, and I spoke earlier about how well he went in the halves role.
Looks like it's his father, Michael. I can see there.
Lovely to meet you. He had a wonderful game, and I watched it on Bar TV. And I've actually got the team list for this week, so you will get to go through that. So we'll do that for you right now. David Bryanton, Wesley Papali-Afoa, Chinadu Uday, Jope Rolk, Paul Johnson, Zane Alamadine, Matthew Barakat, Solomon Tupu, Kaywin Patterson, Mace Andrew, Fine Farley, Alzaya Lamat, I can't say his name, sorry, Tristan Burns, Jai Callahan, Viliami Mahe, Mikhail Papali, Talanai, and Ryman Dre Tuolagi Tusi.
You want to scroll that up on the screen?
And Dallas Teo'ai. Oh, is that not? I'm on the wrong one, am I? Fuck me.
And you gotta remember, guys, like someone like like a Zayn Al-Madine at the moment would be in the middle of Ramadan. So his performance the other day, he was probably fasting, which goes to show on that hot day. And I only played golf on that day and I struggled fasting. So imagine how he would be running around. Obviously, he's a lot younger than I am, but to score a hat trick and do what he had to do, probably with no water as well as food or anything. I'm hoping his early morning preparation was on point with some low GI foods to slowly burn through the day. So good stuff, guys, for all of those youngsters. Hazem El Masri, guys, if you guys saw this week, Michael, we did an amazing article on Hazem El Masri, another guy who used to, started his career when it was still Ramadan early in that time. After we just finished school, it was still early in the season. So, yes, a great story there, asking the question about, is Hazem, the greatest of all time for the Bulldogs? There's a lot of questions there, guys, a lot of great players. So, when you look at his record, look at the way he played and look at everything he's achieved, there's an argument there. It's hard to deny. So, as much as there's some great players, but a lot of these players, you have to remember, played in some great eras with great teams around them, and they looked really good. They were winning premierships, in good teams. So, he for what he did, Hazem, he did the best he could with the team he had, and with his, with his physical attributes and everything he had, he revolutionized the game as a winger, the way he performed, the way he played. Now it's all about the sort of majority of sort of big, strong wingers, and he made the smaller winger, look really good, and he did very well. He played at New South Wales game in Origin and won. He played for Australia, obviously played for Lebanon, but absolute, team player, one team, loyal, never put a foot wrong in the Bulldogs, even through, a lot of turmoil at the club at times. In 2004, there was, he stood out, always maintained, his faith and maintained his discipline amongst the community. So, yeah. So for all those young kids that are coming through now that don't know too much about Hazem El Masri, haven't seen him play, go and have a look, go and read the article. There's a lot of, stuff you can watch online. He should be an inspiration to all of you coming through as someone that you can, follow. So what have you got there, mate?
Yeah, thanks for that shout out, mate. And get on the dogfathermedia.com.au, read the Hazem El Masri article as to why he is one of the greatest Bulldogs of all time. People want to just, we just default, like on the streets, there'll be kids who go, Terry Lamb Mortimer were the greatest of all time, who may not have watched them play. They were definitely my two heroes. But Hazem El Masri changed the game in a couple of areas, guys. And I think the greatest players, that's what they do. They set standards that other people follow. And the fact that Hazem, Hazem was going through Ramadan and doing everything that he did with his friends and his family. And while he was a professional at the Bulldogs, he did all this stuff with no fanfare. No one talked about it at all. It was just all part of what he did. His goal kickings took what Halligan did to a whole new level, and a level now that is set as a standard for every team. Preparation, all that sort of stuff, just absolutely, repetition, hours and hours and hours, and just having a very controlled, very way of doing things that was just routine. You then have the way that he defended against outside backs. If he comes in to shut down that last man. Now, Hazem smashed a few blokes as well, which he doesn't get credit for. He's a very good one-on-one legs defender, but he doesn't get credit for. rarely got brushed off, and he played in some pretty shit teams amongst that period. And I say that respectfully, as in history will say that team failed through that season. They didn't have a good season. That sort of stuff. Times when our team struggled, he was a standout. And people would say, one person commented, he wasn't the best player in our team. How could he, in his team, how could he have been one of the best in our history? Well, there's lots of elements to that. 317 games, never played for anyone else, never got dropped. And what he did for his community, won the Ken Stevens medal, should have played Origin. You go back and look at some of the wingers that were picked instead of him, and really, I don't think. No wonder New South Wales lose a lot of Origin series, to be honest. You know, or even when they were dominant, they lost series they should have won because they didn't pick the best player on the wing. He was one of the best wingers, and you look back at it, he would have kicked goals that they missed in Origin. He would have got them. He didn't get the opportunity, and it didn't worry Canterbury fans because we had a player there all the time who turned up for us, and that saving tackle he did on Stephen Bell in the semi-final where we won 30-0, 2003. Should have won that year as well. Then we also had the situation where he kicks it from the sideline, obviously, in that 2002 run. But the amount of times he shut down a opposition centre or the second last player on an edge from getting the ball to their winger, he was the one who pioneered that. Hardly anyone made that play. They weren't prepared to give another set away. They didn't want to have to defend. It was part of the Bulldogs. He
was such a good reader.
And you can come and you can come at us again. You know what I mean? Never give up the try ever.
He read the game so well.
He read his timing. He was so efficient. He was definitely. People say, "Oh, you know," they talk about speed. Hassan was zippy, but he definitely wasn't fast compared to some of those other blokes over a distance. But he always got there. You know, the way he had limited space and could score tries. Now I look at Carraz and go, he scores tries that other wingers don't score. You sit there and go, that there's no try on here, but he does it. He scores it. Hassan was like that too. The try he had a lot of work to do when he got the ball from Sherwin in the grand final. He had a heap of work to do. Fiddler still says it was held up. Like, he's still dirty about it. You think, and that's what it comes down to. Like, I love all these players as players and that, but when you get into their psyche, they didn't rate Hassan the same as they rate themselves, right? Because the Roosters, that's their whole thing. Like, Gus said it the other day, and I actually agree. They're at their best when they're cocky, when they're confident. And that's the sort of attitude they have. They thought they were better than the Bulldogs in every single way. And it still eats at them today that they lost that grand final. And I love it. And I fucking love it. I love that Trent Barrett's last victory as a Bulldog was against the Roosters, a team stacked with stars, and we beat them. What was it? Joey Manu fucking laughing because he broke our hearts. But what was it? Aaron Schott put him into touch, I think. You know, big rivalry there with the Roosters, which is why I hope that AJ scores a double and just gets it done this week in opposition territory. Starting to agree with some people, though. Sorry, Gas, that they probably shouldn't run on the field.
Well, when you see Wayne Bennett,
integrity of the game, in my opinion, is that you let the game play, do it later.
When you see what Wayne Bennett said in the press conference, it's hard to argue, to be honest with you, from that perspective. It's hard to argue.
Yeah, it is.
You know, he makes a very valid point.
Yeah, Joby made a point, though, which I agree that the AFL do it. And and it's great, you know.
This is what Wayne was trying to separate. He goes, "That's not our game." This is what he kept trying to say. He didn't want to say AFL, but he goes, "That's not our game."
Yeah.
So you know, imagine if you've scored the try, then you've got momentum. So how long is it going to take before you get everyone off the field? This is his mindset. Is it going to be half an hour, an hour? How long before you get, depending on the game and the crowd, before you get everyone off the field? Is it 20 minutes? Is it 10 minutes? Now the NRL's coming out saying that we're going to enforce the 5,500 fines and all these things, and not to let players come on, you know, people running on the field. You know, let's see the kind of security they're going to have down there on Friday, and see what that looks like. It'll be interesting. So, yeah. But if everyone runs on, I'm going on as well. If they're running on, I'm going on too. So, yeah, it's a moment in history. But the other thing that you can finish off on Hasm is he played in the era that you couldn't touch the corner post as well, guys, when you scored your tries. So you had to get the ball down without touching the corner post. Now they can touch the corner post, do whatever, and still get the ball down. And that's why you see a lot more of these unbelievably spectacular tries, which they didn't do before because they couldn't touch the corner post. So the game has changed. So, you know, who knows how many more tries and points he would have got. And you have to remember, even in his point scoring record, his first 4 or 5 seasons, he was playing with Darryl Halligan, who was still kicking all the goals. So he wasn't kicking all those goals until Halligan retired. So he only kicked those in the last 2/3 of his career. So, you know, had he done that at the start, who knows how much more, and you know whether Cameron Smith could have caught that or not. So that's an interesting one. But he also still has the point scoring record, which I think was it 342, Michael? The most points in a season by a player, 342.
Still
guys.
owns that record.
342
points. Post.
Without touching the corner, 342 tries points in a season. So, you know, kicking the ball at that level. So, so there you go, guys. But let's keep going through some of these chats, mate. We'll catch up on those and then we'll keep moving. So, looks like Zane used to be a Para supporter, but that's not the case anymore. That's it. Now he's got blue and white in his veins.
He come across from the Eels, mate.
Yeah, no, he's already thrown those jerseys away, mate. He's donated them to the charity bins. They're already gone. So yeah, Harry's asking him to do some to follow his Bulldogs commentary. Don't ruin the poor kid, mate, with the language, please, Harry.
Good shout.
Timmy's asking, are we surprised that Ezra Mam didn't start last week? I know he's been named, I think, in the team this week, but it looks like they might probably do the same thing. Yeah, they might switch the team again. But look, he's been doing well when he comes on as a super sub. It just they gave him too much to do last week. So, yeah, and then there's as Dean was saying, he was fasting and struggled the last 5 minutes. Well, he's done well to struggle the last 5 minutes, but I'm sure every try he scored would have given him a bit more boost. It was hot on. Yeah, it was a hot day, mate. Absolutely. Scary's off. Timmy's asking if Papa was playing. No, he's not playing, mate. Oh, now you've got that info. There you go, mate. Okay. How are we going to beat Canberra? Because we're undersized in the middle. I wonder.
Who said that?
Amir was asking.
I
worry about Hughes. We had Thompson for this game. I'm going to step back, guys, and let Michael take this one. Don't talk about size to Michael, guys. Don't talk about size to Michael. Come on. Even our backline.
Even take that the wrong way, couldn't we?
Even our backline.
Size doesn't matter, guys. Size doesn't matter.
Don't talk about the forwards.
That's hilarious.
Come on, guys. This is the dog father. Don't go against the family, guys. You know.
That's it, bro. So someone wants me tips. I hate tipping.
Leave me out of that, mate. Thank you.
Hate tipping.
If you noticed, I was probably one of the few that didn't do a Vegas tip either. Everybody, I didn't pick a score, didn't pick anything. I left it alone.
Oh, didn't you?
No, you see, even you didn't notice. See, if I didn't tell you, you wouldn't have known.
There you go. All right, look, I mean, we're always worried we're not big enough. Like, we are. Sam Hughes, 110 kilos. I think what you mean is you don't think we've got enough aggressive players. Is that what you mean? I look at Manly's bench this week. I go, it's the smallest bench I've seen. Nathan Brown, though, he's not big, but he's very aggressive and makes good, and he bends the line. Is that what you mean? We don't have enough players who bend the line with the ball, or we can't contain big forwards when we don't have the ball? It just comes to the same thing we've been doing. You know, we put it deep. We run out from our own back end. You know, our back three get to work. We've got Carraz, we've got Tracy, we've got Montoya. They do their thing. Critter's doing more work. Now, what I want you to go back to that Dragons game, and there's a player in your side who's, I saw this emerge in the semi-final against Melbourne, and I saw two important runs against the Dragons, and that's Matt Burton. When Matty Burton decides to have a run to help out the back three and help our team, he's very, very good. Now, that's one of the reasons people would suggest he should play centre. He doesn't have to play centre to do that. He can go in and do a couple of runs to get us on the front foot. And we've got plenty of players that can take advantage of that, and him included. That's what I said. He did that big run, kick out as a follow-up after stopping, I think, 18 tackles on our own line against the Storm. We're in front. We've got the lead. Sexton kicks it out on the full with no pressure on the kick, really. Big moment in his career. He fucked it. And then we couldn't hold on from there on, which is the team's fault for not holding on. But it come from a Burton run is what I'm saying. Against the Dragons, they were starting to win a little bit of that grind. They've got a pretty big side. They've got some aggressive players. They're big across the park. What did we do? Burton got in a couple of times, changed the momentum of our set, and we actually then won the grind back, won the field position back. We controlled that game. We win it by a point. That's all we had to do. Burton's another one who can help in that space. Kickout had a lot more workman type runs in that game as well. Made a lot of meters. So what I'm suggesting is that we've got some players that have had a good preseason. They're fit. They've been able to recover after that game. It's been a big trip. They get to prepare now and get ready for this game next Thursday night. There should be no excuses, but it is still early. The Raiders will be battle hardened after 2 games away from home. But if there's any cracks to show from them, it will be in how well they can operate under the middle. I think losing Josh Papali this week for them is a good thing. I think that he, I don't think they need Josh anymore. And that's not saying he's not a great player. He didn't help Queensland in game 3 because he did. And he's still he's a big boy and does great things, right? But they've got the players who are seasoned and are good enough to cover his spot there. They got enough depth in that area. It's not a big deal. He gets a freshen up this week, can go again next week against us. He'll come straight back into that side, and he will be chomping at the bit for the Bulldogs.
But as he's put a follow-up comment there that I've put on the screen for you.
What is it? That's what I mean, mate. My bad. We need that intimidation in the middle, I feel. Yeah, look, I know it's great. And look, I know exactly what you mean. I know what you mean, Amir. But the game's not the same as anymore. I think that intimidation factor isn't really helping a lot of sides. I will say, though, that James Fisher-Harris and Moses Leota are the best two at that, and they're not big. They're not big as in their actual weight and their actual height. They're not huge, but they own teams. Payne Huss, as big and athletic as he is, doesn't really go around and belt blokes. He hurts them, I'm sure. Like, you know, if I played 2 minutes with these guys, I'd have my rotator cuff would be gone. Just trying to tackle the halfback, I'd probably burst my shoulder open. You know, like I'd be dead in 5 minutes. Like, the shit they put their body through, these people in this game, is immense. And look, in my opinion, they've got their strengths to the middle. They've got an energetic back row. They're smart. They operate through similar channels up the field. They will target our little men through that. They'll try to draw Kickow and Preston away from the edge. The game plan to beat the Bulldogs, I watch it every week what teams try to do and where they try to put their players. What our system has been built on is how our players engage in the contact. And as I said, catch, carry, drag a lot of the time. But one thing I did notice in the Dragons game, and I've noticed it in our New South Wales Cup game, if people are watching close enough, is that our boys, I feel, are hitting a little bit harder than they were the year before, which was a little bit harder than the year before that. I think everything is coming together over time. I think that, you know, Harry and all these players that are emerging, they are stronger. They are hitting harder. They are more aggressive. The impact's greater. And I'm not saying that's not happening with other teams, because it is as well, right? But it's about how you all emerge together as a unit, how you come together as a unit over time. And that's why I believe the Bulldogs now in this fourth season under Serraldo are in a place where they're just going to be hard to beat every time you play them. And that's the biggest hurdle for your team, is to be hard to beat. If you can be hard to beat, that gets in opposition teams' minds. Now, you go from the hunter to becoming the hunted as well. And there's a lot of teams that we've asserted some dominance over that want to turn that table. And they're going to, you know, 2 weeks out from our game, maybe thinking about us instead of their opposition, right? Not saying it's deliberately, but that stuff happens too. We know that happens. You've seen teams that they turn up 1 week against a team, they're not there, but then they play that side that they really marked it on the calendar, and they're a different bloody team. We see it all the time. So for me, Amir, you just got to back these boys, get in there and watch out the contact. Kurt Mann's coming in. He's 85 kilos. He comes off the bench. He's a second man in. You watch how many people he leaves on the ground. There's intimidation factor all through our side. We have a lot of fans, and I had to train myself out of this, just a tunnel vision on the game in a certain fucking way. It's not the same. It's faster, and there's different levels of contact and different levels in the way they do things. If you go and watch a park football game, and this is where people get their sort of heads, they lose their heads a bit, and watch some reserve graders and watch them dominate. In a slower game of rugby league, the enforcers and the aggression actually is even greater because they've got time. They've got time with their defense to hit harder. You know, some of the punishment's worse for the players as far as that goes. The game's too fast to be losing your mind. And if you go and watch Critter in that little 2-minute clip, when he's sitting there saying, focus, guys, don't worry about that bullshit. Don't be dragged into that crap. Don't go out there and think you got to one out and smash someone with your ego, because we've got a job to do. We've got to go to a dark place. We've got to have faster line speed than the opposition.
We've got to stick to our process. We've got to get numbers in the tackle. We've got to put them on the field where we want to keep them so that when we get the ball, we're able to do what we want to do. There's a system behind it. They're all fucking bought into it. They all know what they're doing. And if one or two players are a little percent down, that's when a mistake happens. That's when shit goes wrong. So they've built a system about getting these guys connected. They did it quickly, and that connection has grown, right? And everybody in the club and in that team don't want to be anywhere else but where they are, and that's half the battle. And this side wants to win a premiership in 2026. So do you think they're worrying about their size? Like, seriously, we've been talking about their size for how long now? And they win how many games in 2024? And still we didn't listen. They then, leading the table, beating all these bigger packs, even though a lot of those teams were down the bottom of the ladder and Sexton was there and did his job and whatever else. We beat them all, beat teams twice, did everything we were supposed to do. We put points in the bank. And then we tried to manage the rest of the season. Didn't quite work out. But I can guarantee you, if Stephen Crichton doesn't go down and we don't lose a centre in the first 5 minutes in the last 3 or 4 matches, we're a lot better prepared than what we were for that final. That's where we were disrupted. That's where we were hurt. But still people are saying we're too small. Look, adding Leo Thompson and that aggressive factor gives us depth. It gives us that extra thing to be able to sit there and say King and Thompson are our props, right? Our 1 and our 2, our 1-2 punch. And for every other forward in our system to say there's 2 front rows in front of us, not 1, 2. 2 quality leaders now in our pack. That's, to me, is the big deal. That's the great thing. Not that Thompson's massive, because he's not anyway. He plays aggressive. He runs into the contact. He's a fucking hard man. He gets hit sometimes too. He's cops some massive punishment. But it doesn't mean that, he's ever going to take a backward step. As I said, Shrek O'Meara used to get bashed all the time. But in the 70th minute when he's come back on, he starts winning that back. You don't forget and he don't stop. He just keeps going. And Leo Thompson's the same. He's going to keep turning up. He's going to keep tackling. He's going to keep pushing hard in that middle. And he's not going to stop. Max King's the same. Max King's going to another level again. I could see it. He did that easily in that trial match. And then in that game against the Dragons, he looked to be doing quite well. Hughes seems to be a little bit behind the 8 ball, but he was recovering from some bad injuries over the off season. And DSF obviously with some issues with his back. Yeah. So there we go. Am I finished yet?
Yes, you're done, mate.
Cool.
So Timmy's saying his colleague at work, her son has left the Harold Matts Panthers to join the Dragons. I was told a heap of the Harold Matts Panthers have recently joined the Dragon squad. That's might be. Yep, Panthers have a big production going on out there, mate. As you know. Who cares? Guess it happens once in a generation. It's not something that's going to continue to happen. I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to back 18 minutes ago, mate. What were we on about, mate? Just refresh my mind. Refresh my mind, mate. Tell us what we're on about. Break even. Get your hands off, mate. Get your hands off. Harry's saying great pickup. Again, not sure what you're referring to, Harry, but yeah, you're welcome, mate. All good. So, I get smashed on one, I get picked up on the other. Thanks, buddy. Timmy loves Zane. He's got plenty of skill and talent. Yeah, thanks, Timmy. Papa will be ready for the Bulldogs.
Yep.
But, like the Raiders will be match ready, guys. They will have 2 big away games, irrespective of what happens against the Warriors. They know that we pulled their pants down last year. They still can't believe they lost that game to us, leading 20-0. So they will be absolutely pumped. And hopefully they're too excited to play us, and we're ready for them. Yep, that was the correction there. Leo would have been great for this game. Yes. We're becoming dogs of war again. Yes, we are, Moosebag. Harry, let's hope the Warriors bash the Faders on Friday. Well, you know what? It was probably in their mind the other day when the Manly scored those quick 14 points to come back. They would have been thinking this is Broncos all over again. It would have been psychologically. Luckily, the guy that delivered didn't have the psychological blow that the other players did. He was the guy that wasn't in the team. You know what I mean? So, and really, it happened so fast. It was just, the second set, they kicked off. Manly ran the ball, kicked down. They came back the other side. They had a good set, and they got into position. And, what was it? 37 meters out, bang, pops it. It wasn't even, most people thought he was just going to be kicking for a corner. It just kind of happened. So yeah, mate, that would have been devastating for them to lose again. So that's all good. D, welcome. In the last 2 wins over the Raiders, we have targeted their right with success. Do we still expect that to be the tactic, despite Critter and Carey switching now to the more dominant left side? I will say, though, if you look at the Dragons game, we didn't go to our left as much as you think we would have, considering that that's where our attacking plays were, especially having Kikau there on the inside of them. We sort of obviously went there from the scrum when we scored the try, when Critter exposed Val Holmes, but we didn't run that play as many times. Let's see how we go moving forward. I'm sure there's a lot of tricks up the sleeve of the Bulldogs. We did expose the Dragons up the left side, but that was more as well coming off our line. Kikau made that break late in the game, and then obviously Critter threw the pass, which I still thought, didn't go forward to Carraz, but probably could have just held on to it with still a couple of tackles. So we did expose them a few times down that left. That is our weapon side, and obviously everybody passing from right to left is the preferred passing motion, which is why left side attacks usually get a lot more run. So yeah, we'll be interested to see how we go down that side. Harry's saying we need Mick, he wants you in the front row. You can be Martin Bella, mate. So
Mate,
sign him up, Harry.
mate, I'd be dead in 5 minutes, mate.
Mick will put some of the Raiders forwards on their back sides. Look, maybe if he drops a couple, I'm not sure. But very good example of a forward that's not the biggest with a big motor and doesn't take a backward step is Michael's man, Harry Hayes, the great dirty Harry Hayes. So
I'll tell you what. Yeah, Harry Hayes, mate. Let's talk about Harry again. That's what I was trying to say is that Harry Hayes is what he's built. Let's look at him behind me.
Harry's comment, just so you know, was about the corner post as a pickup. It was thanks, Haz.
I was trying to tell you because I was going to tell you, but I'll let you go.
It's okay, mate. It's okay.
Joby was talking about running on the field.
That's all right, mate.
G'day, Josh. Welcome to you. Watching. Look at Josh. He's got his little Joshy's little
photo.
I made that photo. So there you go. I created that about 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago on AI. So there you go.
Go, Josh. Go, Josh.
But guys, let's do a quiz, shall we? Let's do a quiz.
Ooh,
Bulldogs
quiz
and
time.
Raiders quiz. So we're going to have 5 questions. Everyone playing at home. Let's have a look at it. So Bulldogs versus Raiders history quiz. We're going to start with the first question. I'll put it up there.
and you've got 3 options to choose from. Who has scored the most points in a match between the two clubs? Is it Hazem El Masri, Reece Martin, or Laurie Daly? Guys, we'll get to your stuff soon, Harry. Tell me, people, in the comments, who has scored the most points in a match between two clubs, between our two clubs? Hazem El Masri, Reece Martin, or Laurie Daly?
So what they're saying, guys, is in one match that was between the Raiders and the Bulldogs, one of these 3 players has scored the most points, like a lot of points. So which one of these 3 has scored the most points? So don't forget, guys, you might want to pick someone who potentially is a goal kicker. I'm not sure, but you never know. Reece Martin also kicks some goals, guys, and still doing so very well overseas.
Lucas says El Masri. Timmy says Reece Martin, guys, and you've only got 20 seconds left. Don't Google. There's no prize.
That's
Who else wants a crack?
Has. Well done, mate. Throw your answers in, guys. Joby.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is Reece Martin, 24 points. And we lost that match, by the way.
Yep.
At Belmore. Ridiculous.
I tried to help you guys. Told you that he was a goal kicker, but only 2 of you wanted to play the game. Timmy and Harry, you're still in it. But long way to go, guys. 4 to go.
2. The most tries scored by a Bulldogs player against the Raiders is 4. Who was it that scored 4 tries? Was it Ben Barber, Nigel Vunganar, or Sam Perrott? So, out of all those 3 guys, one of them scored 4 tries in a match against the Raiders. The other 2 scored 3. That's right, Timmy. But let's answer the question, Timmy.
Focus, Timmy. Focus, Timmy.
Focus.
Timmy, stick with the program, buddy. Come on.
There's a delay out at Penrith. Yeah. Did Blake Austin play in that match with Joey Leilua? I'm not sure.
Might have been around that time.
Lucas says Perrott. Timmy says Vunganar.
Vunganar did also score 5 once, didn't he? So I think he's the only Bulldog to score 5 tries.
Joby says Vunganar. Come on, Timmy. Oh, you already said something. Who else was there? Harry. Come on, Harry.
I'm going to say Benny Barber, guys. Benny Barber.
Well, you can't see the answers, can you?
No, I can't see the answers. I can see what you're seeing.
Benny Barber scored 4 tries in a match against the Raiders, the only player to do so. So no one got that right except Gas.
Andy Sage said BB. I don't know when that came in.
That's for you, Gas.
Snuck one in.
Oh, Andy snuck in Benny Barber. Well done.
I think that game we might have won, though.
There's delays in when people are watching too, people.
When Benny Barber scores 4, I think that game we win.
Yeah. Question 3. The Bulldogs' biggest winning margin over the Raiders is 48 points. A 50-2-4 win in round 22 of 2027. On that day, who scored a hat-trick for the Bulldogs? Now, the players to choose from are Hazem El Masri, Rennie Matua, Cameron Phelps, who was doing a podcast last year, him and his brother. I don't know if they're doing it again this year. Sonny Bill Williams and Ben Roberts. So he scored a number of tries that day. Which player scored a hat-trick? Was it Hazem El Masri, Rennie Matua, Cameron Phelps, Sonny Bill Williams, or Ben Roberts? Round 22 of 2007.
I think I remember this game. I think I've got my answer, guys. Let's see you guys come in first. I think I'm confident with this one.
Yeah, Harry, Rocket didn't get 4 against the Raiders, though, I don't think. Andy says Haslam. Timmy says Sonny Bill Williams. Lucas says Roberts. Ben Roberts. Harry says Sonny Bill. And JB says Haslam.
I'm going to go with SBW, mate.
Sonny Bill Williams scored 3 tries, guys. Sorry, it looks a bit weird there, but he did. It was question 3. Haslam only got 1. So well done to those who said Sonny Bill Williams. Question 4, the Bulldogs' longest winning streak against the Raiders is 6 games. Who are the captains of the Bulldogs during that winning streak? Was it Steve Price and Andrew Ryan? Was it Steve Mortimer and Steve Folkes? Or was it Terry Lamb and Paul Langmack during that period? So there was a period of a 6-match streak. And for each of those streaks, for the streak, you're looking at 2 captains during that time that the streak happened. Was it Mortimer and Folkes, Lamb and Langmack, or Stephen Price and Andrew Ryan? You got to give us one of those 2 captains. Price and Ryan, Mortimer and Folkes, or Lamb and Langmack. Interesting question. Harry says Lamb and Langmack. Timmy says Price and Ryan. Andy says Price and Ryan.
I'm going to go with Mortimer Folkes.
Let's get it out there. Mortimer and Folkes between 1984 and 1987. What's going on?
I don't think anyone got that right.
Except you there, bud.
Sorry, guys.
Last question. Oh, sorry, I've had to do this across the bottom. Bulldogs have had a 53% winning record against the Raiders, 79 matches for 42 wins and 37 losses. What is the winning percentage for the Bulldogs playing at the Raiders' home ground? Is it 43.5%, 54.2%, or 49%?
So Bulldogs have a 53 winning record against the Raiders, 79 matches. Okay.
But at the Raiders' home ground, our record is one of these 3 answers. Is it 43.5%, 54.2%, or 49%?
I've got my answer.
Shoei says 54.2. Lucas says 49. What's yours there, Gas?
I think it's 43.
JB says 54. Answer is 43.5%, 39 matches played for 17 wins. So that's the answer. Gas got
Guys,
it right again.
You have to remember, guys, that they had a great team. They had a great team down there in Canberra for a long time. So we didn't always come away with the cookies there. So
hard to beat there usually in the cold as well.
Yeah. So when they had the Fab Four and the Fab Five and Meninga and Daly and Stewart and Clyde and all the teams, guys. They had a gun team, Belcher. They had so many gun players, Mullins, over the years. So, Harry, what's Harry saying? ChatGPT says 55. What are you looking at, mate? Hey, what are you doing cheating? You're probably checking it after, I'm hoping.
ChatGPT is always wrong. Trust me. I tried telling me Haslam's last game was against the Panthers and that we won 34-18.
It was against the Eels. Panthers. It was a semi-final against the Eels.
Well, it was the Warriors. Was the last season game. Yeah. But we do have a good record. It's still a good record, I believe.
It's good. It's
only going to get better. It's only going to get better.
Andy used to go to watch the games at Canberra.
Oh, sorry.
Used to go watch the games in Canberra. At my Canberra mates used to always give it to me. That's all right, mate. We can have the last laugh. I'm guessing this is
scared me as a young kid. I had nightmares over him dead set.
No.
The Fijian.
I'm lucky we know who you're talking about, Matt, because that is absolutely nowhere near the correct spelling of his name, Harry. Thank God you call the game better than you can read them, mate. Woof. It's all right. But he was a devastating player. They had some really tough players, but even Ferguson used to be a danger man back in the day. So don't show our age.
We need to do a commentary, I think. Just do a stream where we're commentating the game. The three of us. It's a bit hard though when you want to watch the game.
Yeah, I know.
But and we can't obviously stream an NRL game live. I'll get kicked off everywhere. But we could definitely we could probably do it on TikTok. But not on YouTube, that's for sure.
Harry, I think it's Nandruku as well, buddy. Not Mandruku.
Sounded out, he said.
I'll pay that, Harry. That's all good, mate. No one Andrew. Yeah, there's some big boys back in those big boppers. But if you notice,
Harry,
Storm did that.
Was there any commentary from the Vegas game, buddy? I haven't seen it yet. Saw your Galvin TikTok. Did you do a whole game? Andy, do you think Leo Thompson could be as good as Josh Jackson? Oh, different players, Leo. I think Josh Jackson would go down as one of the best players to never win a premiership for the Bulldogs. I'm glad he's in our system still. Look, I think Leo is just playing a different role, buddy. I think I'd probably look to compare him more with, do you think he could be as good as, an Asatasi or a Shrek or someone like that? I thought Martin Bella actually did quite well for us. What happened to Gas? Has disappeared. Oh, he's back.
Hello.
G'day, mate. I don't know what happened.
It's all right.
Yeah, I remember Quinton Pong here too. He was a bit of a beast. Oh, yeah, it makes it too hard. I totally understand you. You'll pass out if you're doing Ramadan and got to commentate.
No, it's not just that, Michael. It's the language as well, mate. It doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't contribute to a good fasting.
Sacrifice.
Yes, it's not. Not our style.
All right.
Yeah, it's swearing is not ideal, guys. When you're fasting, it's like you kind of can almost break your fast just by the language. So you're not supposed to do any sin and do stuff like that. So he's done well, Harry. He's held himself back for that Vegas game. I'm sure he's done well. Cement Gillespie, yes, that's a name, Timmy. That was one of my favorite players growing up. That was the one I wanted to meet when I was at school and everything coming through. David Cement Gillespie, yes, missing the thumb that he lost in the garbage truck incident when he got stuck when he was at work. Yes, guys, those guys used to work back in the day and then come to training. They all had jobs. But yeah, David Cement Gillespie, what a player. He was tough as they come.
His missus used to drink up at the Riverwood Tavern or whatever it's called. She's a good chick. She's no nonsense gal. Yeah, Lazarus is 100%. Go to three different. He's probably top 2.
Yeah, he's definitely up there. Influential as anything, mate. Definitely up there, Harry.
Payne Haas isn't at that level yet. I don't care what anyone says. We want to sit there and glorify how, like, I think he's a great bloke and he's been through a lot, but he hasn't reached his potential, in my opinion. I always feel like he's holding back in some way. It's pretty hard to say when he runs 300 fucking meters. I know that. Like, I must sound like a dickhead. Sorry for swearing. But Glenn Lazarus, to me, was the epitome of that's what I mean. The middle back then. Look, if Payne Haas was playing back then, I think he plays a little bit differently as well. I think he plays a bit more aggressively. I think he plays, and I think he would do really well, obviously, in any era because he's so fit. He's so got the fact he's got speed, he's got hip movement. I'm probably talking myself.
Huge motor,
and he can do things that, look, Payne Haas, I think, sees the games probably like some halfbacks do. You know what I mean? Like, he is very good, and I think he will ascend to be the best. I just don't. A lot of us look at it by records, but I think Glenn Lazarus, obviously went to Melbourne. What he did with the Broncos, he was in a good side, but he was the difference between them, from where they were to where they got to. And then just his consistency. He was great for New South Wales, great for Australia. Yeah, Harry, I'm glad you mentioned Glenn because one of the greatest, probably the greatest, if we're talking about immortals, I think he's one of the ones that comes up in the conversation big time. Payne Haas, I think he gets his moment eventually. I still think Payne Haas could do a whole lot more. It sounds wrong to say that because what he contributes, but you can see when he does where he offloads and stuff, and it's not hard. It's easy. He rarely makes mistakes with what he does. He doesn't put his team under pressure, rarely at all. Like, he's so good. And I think there's more in him. God help us.
Like a man amongst boys.
I think Wayne Bennett's going to love having Payne Haas come to South Sydney. That's all I know.
It seems like Haas sort of controls himself.
Anyway, we're talking about Lazarus.
It seems like he controls himself to play as many minutes as he can. So he chimes in when he has to. He's got a big motor. He keeps just coming all the time. So he's definitely up there. But Harry's saying here that he thinks the Raiders front row at Tarpany is the best. I mean, some of these guys. I mean, look at how mobile he is as well. Tarpany. He works so hard. He's got that great leg speed, and he's always also got the arm free, ready for an offload. Which at the moment, I think, guys, the offload in NRL at the moment is the biggest game breaker. The more I'm seeing offloads and what they're doing, the more I'm seeing the best defensive teams and every team getting torn to shreds with some very good offloads. I know myself. Yeah, I know myself when I'm watching games and I see an offload come out, I'm screaming, stop the offloads. Like, it's just a killer. Like, that's where that, you can break up a game and you can get second phase, and it's It's why the Bulldogs have now started to make sure that every offload is used wisely and it's straight away spread out, and it's not just offload and then just run straight back in behind the ruck and take another tackle. It's basically offload and off you go. And like you saw King the other day, although it was a penalty, one of his best passes of the season in the last 2 seasons was that pass he threw next. So the offload is very underrated, and we do have some great exponents in the offloads, especially Kikau and Karaz. And Karaz led the offloads last year, although he led it jointly with Payne Haas. So they both were equal on the same number, but Karaz played less games than Payne Haas as well. So on average, he was doing more offloads per game than anyone else. And Kikau's another one that when he's on and he wants to, he just will get in there, take the impact, turn around, just like Karaz does, and then that little underarm push out offload that comes out, and you have to be ready for it, guys, because that's where you create that second phase, and the good teams can make that count, and then basically get the team on the back foot, and then off you go from there. You start to run the next play and go from there. So yeah, so it's a very good play. But one thing for us, Connor Tracy last year was number 1 in the NRL for support play by a country mile. So as a fullback in his basically second year as fullback, to be the number 1 support player, everyone talks about how you have to be there. He was leaps and bounds ahead of anyone else as a support player. And that's an outstanding achievement by him, and he'll continue to do that. Just always be there, that presence. Some of the best players that did that before used to have good results. Billy Slater, all these guys were always there in support, ready for something. And Connor Tracy, you see him, he's always there supporting and ready for an offload or ready for a pass or ready for something that comes through. And he puts a lot of effort into his games. So his work rate and energy is unbelievable. So, he's the best fullback we've got at the moment, and he's doing an amazing job. So last year, when we were doing well, Connor Tracy was doing well. When he wasn't there or when he was struggling, we struggled as well. So he's a massive part of our team, guys. So, but yeah, I know we're back on the forwards. So we've also got here, Timmy's talking about Ruben Wiki, great Raiders legend as well, yes. Started off in the centres, ended up in the front row. Yep, as some players do. I think was it the Panthers that started off with a winger and finished in the lock, and also he went to Cronulla. What was his name? Played Origin. Who was the Panthers player playing on the wing, and then went to Luke Lewis. Was it Luke Lewis? Yeah, Luke Lewis started on the wing and ended up in the lock. So yeah, some of the best forwards started in the back line.
All right. So I actually wanted to finish talking about Tapine. I think he's up there for the rating of the best, to be honest. I think you're right, Harry. He's one of the best, most consistent, and he's a leader of the pack, leader of men, and someone you got to really watch for. Agree with the offload stuff. We spoke numerous times about Karaz and his offloads, and that Connor Tracy was the number 1 support player. So these things are immense. We want to see probably our forwards get a bit more of our offloads as well, because it's that's where a lot of the holes open up. But you got to look at the way we play. Our back 3 are basically forwards for us, and Karaz's second phase play is so essential to our sets, not just being a kick for field position at the end of it. They enable us to do a little bit more and sort of turn that screw a little bit more. I think depending on where the game is at will depend whether we do something with that offload. I think we've seen some good intent in the trial and in the first round after we've got some stuff away. But Jacob Karaz's offloads, as I said last week, I think someone raised it. It can make the heart rate go up when he's doing offloads, because he'll get some wrong. But generally, if he's not doing that, we're going to really struggle to get field position in some sets. It's been essential.
And that's why the addition of Thompson and the seasoning of these extra forwards is so important to what we want to do moving forward, because it'll, as Harry alluded to earlier as well, Harry Hayes and these sort of players, another season under their belt, another preseason, another unheralded performance. We talk the Dally endpoints. Gas sent them through earlier as well. I think they were pretty good. They Critter and Birdo, and I think Cookie got a point.
Kickow,
Kickow got points. Look, you couldn't everyone who got points, you couldn't take the points off them, in my opinion. But I could have taken a point off each of the guys who got multiples, and thrown
Preston.
a point on a Prestos and Tracy's way as well.
Yep.
Ruben Wiki, great Raiders legend, and it's the Ruben Wiki Cup. Harry says most underrated player, Sean Berrigan, definitely, and he broke our hearts in the worst possible fucking way, and I hate talking about him. We had his little brother Barry in the Bulldogs for a while. Andy reckons Josh should have played for Australia. I think he did play for Australia at some point.
Definitely played a lot of Origin.
Yeah, he didn't play enough Origin, Josh Jackson. Harry Shute, David Staggs is definitely underrated, and someone that wasn't big, was he? He just worked his ass off.
Great Queenslander as well. Played a lot.
Luke Lewis can't. I think.
No.
Luke Lewis
That was just
a player who kept Hazem El Masri out of.
He was just talking about what I was saying before. He's just answering that, Mick, before you jump on him.
I'm not jumping on him. I'm actually jumping
I know.
on myself here.
I know what you're doing, but he's just answering before when I was searching for the player that came off the wing and ended up having a good career in the second row in the lock. That's all.
Yeah. Luke Lewis is a fantastic player. I mean Luke Rooney.
Rooney was the other one. Yeah.
He was playing wing for New South Wales when Hazem El Masri should have been, in my opinion.
Yes.
Luke Lewis does a lot with New South Wales Cup, like he does weekly. He works for the NRL, I think, in doing commentary on New South Wales Cup every week, stuff like that.
Harry, you're allowed to comment about if someone's a tank, mate, because I think that's when you look in the mirror too, buddy. Not you, Michael.
Carraz, haven't heard anything about an injury to Carraz's left wrist. Not heard about it.
I think what Carraz, if you looked at the try that he scored, he actually landed on his shoulder. The way that he put the ball down, he landed on his shoulder. So if you looked at him, obviously last year he had a little bit of shoulder and he still had it strapped up, if you remember in the trials. That's why he was wincing in pain when he scored. So but I don't know if it was a left wrist. Maybe it's too many offloads, every time he flicks the ball out.
Carraz definitely in the box seat. To me, the only difference between Lomax and Carraz, as far as what you're looking for out of your backfield, is his goal kicking ability. But even then, great striker of the ball, but like he gets that one from the sideline, we win the decider. Great things happen for Lomax after that, but I just think there's better goal kickers, more accurate in the team already.
We've got Cleary
like Nathan Cleary, 91%, as Joby pointed out. So Jacob's got to take that spot. And I think the hunger of his preseason, the hunger of everything. There's a couple of boys in our team that want to play for New South Wales this year. They know that's their next ticket to, get more money out of the club and stuff like that as well. Obviously, you make the big time when you play Origin. Obviously, a fucking dream as well. Massive thing to represent your state at that level in the greatest game that we can usually produce is State of Origin. So, look, a lot of selfish Bulldogs fans would be sort of happy if we don't lose them for a few games, but gives opportunities to these other players in our system.
Can I just go back to this one quickly, Michael, before you do that? I'm not sure if you discussed Mr. Incredible.
I went.
Mentioned earlier, do you consider Carraz injury prone? I want to say something about this myself. If you look at Carraz's size and how he plays, I think he plays way bigger than what he is. He puts his body on the line all the time. He makes the big plays. He does the big contact. He does everything at 100 miles an hour, and he does it so well. I think he pushes the boundaries to get the best that he can out of himself. And sometimes by doing that, you are gonna cop a few knocks. But if you looked at him as a player and considered how many times he actually plays, even still injured, he's got a huge heart, just to keep coming. And he's still better for us, even playing injured, than bringing someone else in that's not. So, and what that tends to do is it doesn't allow your recovery, unfortunately. So when you're still playing injured, you're never giving yourself the chance to recuperate. Hopefully, whatever he sustained in Vegas, he manages to, overcome as well.
Can I just answer the question?
Sure.
Directly. He's had 4 seasons at the Dogs. He never in his first year. He never started the year in first grade. He's actually on a train and trial contract. Came in only because of a COVID. COVID went through the team, and we lost 8 players on the eve of a match against the Broncos, a game where he played outstandingly well. He cramped up a fair bit. So in 4 seasons, or 3.5 seasons, I should say, or 3 and 60% of a season, he's played 79 matches, or let's say 78. So if we divide that, and he's played 19 games in 2023, 25 games in 2024, and he missed the start of the 2025 season. Now, he still made it for the 2026 season. So in my opinion, he's averaging over 20 matches a year. So 78 divided by 3.6, let's say 21.66 games a year. I would say that's great value. And he's only got better and better and lifted it. So, yeah, I don't think he's injury prone. I think he is prone to he's an NRL player who, as Gas was saying, does a lot of work. His teams are more physical with him now because of his ability. They want to smash him. They want to hit him harder. He's taken tough runs. Not taking shitty. He's unorthodox. He's taking runs off. If he's not catching the ball, he's taking the next hit up nearly every single set. He's taken a hit. I've taken a run every time we get a set out of our own end. He's taken a run. You can see the meters, 128 in his first season, 164, 189. Last year dropped a little bit, was higher than that, but didn't need to do as many return meters and stuff. We had a lot of possession, had a lot of field position. I mean, our forwards actually had more meters last year than usual because of the areas that we had the ball, which means our back three didn't need to as much. But still high numbers, not a decline, and then gets 278 against the Dragons in a game which suited him doing lots of work. So, yeah, look, is he injury prone? Simple answer is no. And that's
Harry's got a comment on that as well.
Gregos is an extra forward on the wing. The meters he makes and the offloads he does is so crucial for our team. Puts his body on the line. He's a winner, and that's why.
Andy as well.
All arms and legs, a complete nightmare for the opposition to tackle. And look, I think you'll find that there's a lot of our players now with a similar. I sort of look at these all arms and legs sort of guys. Preston's a bit like that, and there's a few others coming through. I think they're fast, and if they've got a good football mind and they're good people, they have a lot of attributes. Hey, my eyes are shutting.
Timmy, we'll do the Origin team another time, mate. Still too early. Did Harry ask earlier about your best? Harry asked earlier about your best 13 from last week.
Oh, from the
first
best
round.
13. Not something we really do, Harry, but we might look into that, mate. You know, it's very hard to determine who the best over 2 weeks, especially. It's a bit hard to do. But it'd be interesting to hear yours, Harry, and have you share that with us every time you come on. And we'd love to have you on one day as well. Night, JB.
See you, buddy.
I'll talk to you tomorrow, I'm sure, bud. Guys, look, I just want to thank everyone who donated towards the start of the show. If you're still watching now, you go into the draw to win a jersey for every $10. If you're already a paying member, you get a double ticket. If you donate to buy me a coffee, you get double that.
Are you doing a prize draw tonight or not?
Prize draw.
Or is this going to be for the charity one today? Your call.
Half the money's going to the charity, minus. Probably only on once this week, Harry. I'm going to try and do an audio article for Hasm and maybe an up-and-comer video as well.
See, this is the comment I like to see here, guys. I don't even watch 360 anymore. That's it. It's over. So switched off 360 to watch this. Thanks, legend. So, you know,
I'll watch it tonight. I'll watch NRL 360. I'm a sucker for punishment, but
you just want to know who to go after with a ratchet, mate. That's all.
It's just a Hollywood production, you know. It's, you know, you could see David Riccio felt very uncomfortable defending, trying to say that he was on Zach Lomax's side. And he'll be a big loss to the game. Like, we've seen it over and over. It's just a fabrication of content. There's no real, you know, to sit there and watch Braith, just to every person he talks to, you go, so the Bulldogs halves are under pressure, hey? The Bulldogs halves are under pressure, hey? Aren't they? And then, you know, Benny Elias's answer is like, Galvin's fucking excellent. He's awesome. You know, well, obviously he's related to Isaac Moses, who his manager is. So you always got to look for connections when people talk. That's Brent Reed loves Isaac. Braith hates Isaac. The whole world hates Isaac because of the narratives that are presented and the people who have the say and have the microphone. It's fucking bullshit. They just talk shit. Sometimes, though, there's some good stuff. A lot of people don't like Gordy. I love Gordy. Most of the time he doesn't. And even when he gives an opinion, it never fucking hurts me, anything he says. You know why? Because I know he actually believes what he's saying. So when someone believes what they're saying, it doesn't hurt me. It doesn't rile me up. It doesn't piss me off because they believe it. If they believe it, you can't really change it anyway. They just potentially got it wrong. Whereas some of these other people are just sitting there. You know, what Dobbo talking about DCE today, like, again, we spoke about that earlier. Like, James Graham had to stand up. I still wish Jammer could have did a better job of that. I love that what he did and what he said and the fact that he arced up against it. But I felt that Dobbo got away with basically like presenting as, what do you mean? The Dogs gave everything away for Galvin. DCE's gone to a new club after 15 years. He should be given time. Why should he? If Galvin's not given time, why isn't he? I don't know. The adults acting like fucking kids in regards to a kid. Of course he needs time. Oh, he's a win in the comp.
So what? They all said Sexton wasn't good enough. They all did. Oh, Sexton can't win him a comp. Sexton and Tracy can't win him a comp. Marnie's a grub. He's not going to win him a comp. He'll give away penalties. That's what they were all saying. Walk in the door, Lachlan Galvin. Oh, it's a fucking poor Reed Marnie. Fuck off.
And he was the most
Buzz 360.
He was the most penalised player in 2024. Reed Marnie.
Yep.
He obviously didn't play the full year last year, but he was the most penalised player in 2024. And he had the most ineffective tackles in 2024, which is why the discussion came out about him at the end of that season in part of his review.
Well, we can say that as a narrative. We can talk about that as a narrative because nobody is, right? We can talk about that and it can be just as right as anything else that they've said. Doesn't mean that's exactly what it was because our system requires that, Kickout makes almost as many ineffective tackles in a season. He makes heaps of missed tackles because of the pressure he puts on. Marnie's leading the line speed. Look, I'm not going to sit there and bag him out about it. And I know you're not either. You're just giving a completely valid statistical-based narrative that suits what happened. And that's what people keep trying to do in regards to players in our team, where they don't do it to other sides. And I sit there and I hear, this situation where people say, oh, yeah, but he's talked about the other halves and stuff. I've heard multiple people say that. I'm like, who, Braith? He's very critical of halves, and I think a lot of that's genuine in a way. But I just think it's not right, especially in the position he's in where he's managing halves. I just don't think it's right. If you're managing halves, you're trying to find them homes. Very critical of Flanagan and the nepotism stuff, constantly talking about it. Trying to bring a player to the Bulldogs that ends now at the Gold Coast. All glory for Ilias. All glory for them all preseason. Free honeymoon period. I know we got that with Barrett and that coming to the club, and when we finish well under pay and then off seasons, what are the Bulldogs going to do? Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's part of the whole business, right? It's part of the entertainment. But I'm telling you, there's a fucking bias there. And Jimmy Russell actually wrote a really good article, one of the first ones on Dogfather Media. Jimmy, we'll see a bit more of Jimmy, hopefully. Again, he's been on a few podcasts. Not sure if he was on last year, but definitely the year before. Maybe a bit last year. But he talked about, like, whoever you're aligned with, you could see the alliances between certain media people, ex-players and that, and how they operate when they talk about things, It's all excuses for some teams. It's all glory for some teams. And for other teams, it's just, Phil Gould was right when he said it. And it's good to galvanise, pardon the pun, our fan base. They do it because we're the Bulldogs and they don't fucking like us. They hate us. They hate our community. They hate our people. They hate the diversity in our group. They hate our passion. They don't fucking like us. And the media don't either. And they know how hated we are. And they take advantage of that. And that's what they do. And even ex-Bulldogs that are in the media have to talk about these things to do their job because that's their expectation. So Braith has to talk about Galvin and that, whether he wants to or not. But then he goes on his podcast and talks about it 100 times, right? You made me face bigger, Gas, but you can see my eyes aren't shutting. Are your eyes shutting, Harry? Am I putting you to sleep, brother?
No, Harry's still firing up, mate. Don't worry. He's in your corner, mate. He loves what you said about 360.
Dobbo's a Broncos fanboy, but I'm pretty sure he's a Bulldogs supporter from what I've been told. So Same as Ganane, supposedly a fucking Bulldog supporter, but Dobbo's like, he got his opportunity and he's been on his knees ever fucking since. Like, I don't know why he wants to be the big fucking newsbreaker and shit. You know, Fatty and that used to love him. They gave him his opportunity. I love Fatty Vaught. Right? But, yeah, the Broncos should be kicked out of the comp, Aussie. Fuck him. Oh, they started dragging Galvin and Lomax's discussion. Yeah, that's right. They started going, and this is what happened, right? So we've got all our Bulldogs fans going, oh, there's a rumor, Gus, are we going to swap Lomax for Burton? No, what are you talking about? So on NRL 360, to be fair to them, they just talked about potential players that Parramatta would entertain, to take in return for allowing Lomax to play rugby league. And they came up, oh, Burton would fit perfectly. Not even looking at the fact that do we need Lomax, right? And the fact that we still need Burton big time, right? They didn't look at any of that. Oh, yeah, Galvin can move the fucking 5'8". They got Mitch Woods, who's never played a game of NRL. Like, just absolute craziness. And then the headlines the next day from the actual digital media tried to make it look like there was a rumor going around he was going to be swapped. And people just see the headline because that's how our society seems to work, get outraged at headlines, which is ridiculous. And then what do we have? Gus having to answer it on Twitter about just complete bullshit that wasn't even a rumor to start with. And our fans and losing their fucking minds over it as like, come on. This is what I'm saying. If you start reading stuff and listening to stuff that isn't what the major media organizations are putting out there, that's why they're all doing podcasts now, guys. They're all doing podcasts because they know everyone's switching off to all the podcasts. They'd rather go watch someone get outraged who's a fan and loves their club than go and watch people manufacture outrage, right? They know this. They've got all the data. They can see it. Now, there's a real catch-22. If they don't make money from the things that they do, the game has less funds from our current providers, right? But don't you worry. There's all these other services that have got plenty of money that are going to come into the market anyway. So that's why they're trying to do podcasts and they're fighting for sponsors, and advertisers are like, well, we're not really getting any money out of this. It's a dying industry. And they're sitting there going, how come thousands of people are tuning into Levels podcasts and all these other things? And then they say, well, we need to get those people into our networks and make those people radio. Then they get radio jobs and everything like that because they want to keep control and keep ownership of it. What I say is if we just boycott those things, and keep watching your podcasters and keep getting your information without doing all that, without posting their shitty fucking clickbait stories all over our groups, right? If we stop that actually cuts out of their viewership. Because Bulldogs fans, we watch the games, we go to games, we buy the fucking merch, and we watch everything on TV to do with the Bulldogs. And if we start not watching because of the crap that they're dishing out, they will change the way they go about it. They will have to. But it takes commitment. And this is why we've done so well on this channel. And other YouTube channels for the Bulldogs are doing really well because we know exactly what's going on, and we support our team in the right way, and we don't sit there and carry on. And the podcasts who are sitting there and just trying to manufacture outrage every time we fucking lose, like, it's not gonna survive. It's only temporary. Do it slowly, you go through it bit by bit. You give your opinions, you listen to other people's opinions, and then you all learn together as a community, not sit there and act like you're fucking this, that, and the other. We're just fans. Gas and I are just fans who love sport, who love the Bulldogs, and that's it. And that's what we live and breathe it every single day. And we know the people that come watch us, you guys are all the exact same as us. And that's it. There's none of this fucking bullshit of journalists sitting there talking about themselves in the third fucking person. Like we control the narrative, and listening to, he does SEN now, one of the journos, and him and Ricky O and Reed and fucking Crawley, all talking about like how they, and Chamis was there as well, and they're all talking about how they control the stories, and then you got Brafe going, oh, the stories are going to be there, they're going to be there, there's nothing we can do. I'm like, no, the stories are only there because you guys keep pushing the story that's not there. You keep a story going because you want to keep it going, and because there's all these people who hate people in our team and in our club. That's it. That's what it comes down to. I'm fucking over them. So boycott them. Tune into us, dogfathermedia.com.au. No outrage, just stories.
Andy's telling you, mate, it's a fact that mainstream media and its journal is failing. You're correct. It's dying. So it's
that's why I left News Corp.
There you go.
Good place, though. I like it.
There you go, guys. He was on the inside. Harry's saying that he stays awake till Sahur, which means that he'll be awake till after 5 a.m., mate. I don't know what you're doing the next day, mate, if you're staying up that late, buddy. After praying Fajr, then off he goes.
He sleeps until it's dark. He
Till
sleeps
7
till
o'clock.
he can eat.
That's not Ramadan. No, he won't do that, mate. Come on. That's not. You don't sleep Ramadan. Come on.
I'll tell you what. Look, no disrespect, but I need Ramadan. No disrespect. I need to sacrifice and fast.
You just need to watch the food you're eating, mate. That's all. You just need to control your portions, count your calories, and that's it, mate. Just control the food that you're eating, and that's it.
Well, look, I've done 50 Ks in the last 9 days, so
awesome,
or 10 days.
Awesome. And now you've got a massive motivation tomorrow, mate. Look at the support you got tonight. The guys were outstanding in their donations. And for those who haven't donated yet, if you're not too late yet, Michael's done an amazing job, raising for a great cause. So the money that you're donating today, he's putting straight into that. Half of it that obviously he gets back, he's putting straight into that cause. So there you go.
When's your birthday, Timmy?
Probably the 5th of April, isn't it, this year? 5th of April, is it, Timmy?
Timmy's an Aries, is he? You're an Aries, Timmy.
I'm going to enjoy my 40s for a few more months, mate.
When are you 50?
Leo, mate. Leo. It'll be during the season, mate.
Are you turning 50 this year? You don't look a day over 47, mate.
Thanks, mate.
I'm 49 in May.
Oh, there you go, mate. Got you covered.
That's as far as I go, people. Look, how old are you? Oh, late 40s.
You got to listen to your elders, mate.
Till I die, guys. That'll be me till I die.
Yeah, you look at the two of us. Do I look older than him? Come on, guys, help me out here.
All right, people. If you want to donate, we've got the barcode there. I'll be doing walks. I'm going live. I want Harry and I want the three of us to commentate a game as if we were, maybe you can sync us up with the actual game while you're watching it, and we'll commentate it for you one day. Bulldogs fans. We'll call it Bulldogs Radio.
Harry's giving you a nice message there, mate.
What did he say?
He says, you know what I've learned watching you guys is positivity. Love the good positive vibes that you guys bring. That's why I always only choose you guys over all those dribblers.
Oh, thanks you, Harry. Guys. Harry, what happened to your mate? 6 tackles with old mate. Your best friend, he was doing one last year. Are they going again this year?
Over to you, Has. Firas, he's saying?
Yeah, it might be Firas. I don't remember their name, but it was the name of the podcast was 6 tackles or something. They're really critical. Yeah, I had a crack at them because they were being too critical. It's all fucking doom and gloom all the time. But, you know, fucking love the Bulldogs. They love the Bulldogs as much as I do, and I love – that's what I say. Even people I've banned from here, I still love how much they love the Bulldogs. They just
6
can't
tackles
handle
with
Finchy, that's it. They can't handle how – I think you're on their show. You're on their show, Harry.
There's his comment. He's over that shit talk, to be honest, bad energy.
Yeah.
Look, there's a way to support your team, guys. And the reason me and Michael get along so well, because we're both on the same wavelength. We both think and love the Bulldogs the same way in regards to the positivity. It's not a coincidence. It's not fake. It's just the way we are. We're always looking at it from a perspective of, okay, why did that happen? Yes, like Michael said the other day, when you're watching the game live, there is that frustration. You swear, you carry on, you get angry, but it's what you're projecting now, you know, to the people like yourselves that are all on there. You would have all had, you know, after a loss or something, you come in there, you've got your tail up, you know, you're upset. You've had the weekend's been destroyed, especially if it's a Thursday or Friday night game. It's soul destroying to lose a game. And we lost a lot of Thursday games last year, so it was very tough. Yeah. But you come out of it. What we try to do is put that positive spin back in that we're trying to show legitimately. These are the things that, you know, that we take the positives out of. These are the things that we're looking at as to the why we had the results we did. You know, if you know, it's not trying to sell ice to an Eskimo. It's basically trying to give you guys the pump up that, you know, these things are going to happen. There's going to be a lot of challenges in a season. You're not going to, you know, win every game in the season and then win the finals and win the grand final and have a perfect. No one ever has a perfect season. It doesn't happen, guys. You know, very, very, very rare to have like that dominance. That's like, you know, the Dragons did, you know, when they won. And, you know, look at what Penrith did the other day, you know, like for the 4 seasons. Very, very rare to see, guys, you know, and there's ups and downs. So it's all about the reason we stay positive is to keep that same community, everyone together. Because what happens when there's negatives? The infighting begins, guys. And this is what happened last year. Everybody started jumping onto the media going, oh, they must be right about that stuff. And everyone started jumping onto Galvin and they hate Galvin. You don't even know Galvin. You're hating him for what? Who are you hating? You're hating the story and everything else.
I'll come in here, Gas. Because Harry's saying like how he's being critical of Galvin. He doesn't. I said, yeah, mate, I was quite happy with how you went about that. You're not. He's not shit. You're giving your opinion of what you think. The issue we have with and this isn't about you. This is about with fans. What Gas is talking about. The major point there is that when we lose, right? I've had people who are Bulldog supporters on this group who have now left. When we were going for all those wins, they came onto the channel. They loved it. They were all positive, you know, members and everything. Then we started having a couple of losses, and then they started attacking me for defending them or for providing different narratives to what was validating them. So what the media do, the only way the media stays relevant and gets views now, the main way, they make less out of glorifying people than they do out of tearing people down. They get more views when they validate how fans feel after a loss. When, for the most part, men and young men lose control and start typing shit and start ramming shit down people's throat. So it's different. It's gone from having a bit of banter and a bit of fun to actual just over the top, constant. And what they do is they make you feel right. They make you feel that what you're seeing because you lost is that. Now, the last thing I'm going to say is that people will talk about the Dolphins haven't learnt lessons with their defense or anything like that. They were about to take over that game until Cody Walker did his 40-20. A lot of RC tries on the weekend and a lot of things that turn games by some good players taking some risks and those risks paying off. But
That was
guess
his
what,
first
guys?
40-20 in his career.
His first ever one. He might get another one in the next game and he might get 4 for the season. They might be really important to win. But there'll be times where he puts it out in the full. There'll be times where it doesn't work. And, you know, the game and the outcomes may be different because of it. It's just a game. It's a game of chess. It's a game of risk. It's a game of chance. There's so much that goes into it. You're not guaranteed to ever win a premiership ever again. You might, I fucking hope that we do. But every team out there is not guaranteed anything. It is such a gladiatorial game. It is such a game played on a precipice of ability and luck and fitness and recovery. It's just a great fucking game and we love it and we live it every fucking day. And if I say F word again, Gas is going to bash me with his mind bullets that I can feel. You know, Jack Black style. Anyway, we're going to wrap up, guys. Big thank you to everyone. We nearly made $100 tonight, which means we'll get about probably, I'll just donate $40. Okay. We're only going to get about 60 out of that, 58 or something, but I'll just donate 40 of that to the cause, and it'll take us closer to our tally. I've got a spreadsheet of all the money people have put in and how much, how many tickets they've got for the jersey next week. I might do a couple of lives during the week.
I'm just showing these back, mate, just so people can see the generosity that these guys did from the start.
JB put in 2 lots tonight, which is brilliant. So yeah, guys, I'm not going to do a random draw tonight because we're going to have a big draw next Tuesday, obviously. And all these people, majority of them have got tickets. I think everyone's here's got tickets that have paid money into that. So the bloody awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. I sent Brian's Jacob Preston number plate out today. So he's looking forward to that. And we should have some more merch. We're looking at some merch for Don't Break Defense because we've done some stuff with that. So hopefully that turns out well. That'll be coming from overseas shortly. Still waiting for that. But, yeah, lots of things we're looking at, guys, to try and give back. Yeah, it looks bloody awesome. I love what Andy said earlier. I caught myself giving lip service to the television. NRL 360, they want you to get triggered. They do. That's the thing. It's just a performance.
Yeah.
Andy says Warriors to bash Raiders. Highmarsh didn't win a premiership. They made 20 metres. That set, by the way, best defense set by Dolphins, and he kicks a 40-20. Biggest momentum killer you've ever seen. I'll say that too, Harry. Why I really identify with that play is that I've seen the Bulldogs, even when we was all the way from where we've been struggling up to now, we still have those moments where we're so fucking dominant in a defensive set and somebody does that to us, especially when we've had to grind back to get ascendancy, which we've done in a lot of matches.
Yeah.
And against some of those better teams, that's been just such a thing where someone pulls out that play or we get a fucking a charge down. You know?
In 2024, we did that a lot, Michael. Like
Yeah.
Birdo kicked the most 40-20s in the season. He kicked 4 in the season. We were the ones that were struggling to come off our line, and then Birdo would kick us out of trouble, and we'd get the ball back, and then we'd start again. So it was it was sort of against us as well. But we're now getting on the other side. We're the ones having some good attacking sets and getting into like if you look at the Dragons game, they were the ones coming off their line all the time. So,
all right, guys. Thank you for your contribution tonight. I reckon you've had a really good crack, and I didn't give you a bloody an itinerary tonight, so you've had to come up with some of your own stuff. So that's really good job. Bit of bad planning on my part, but it was all good and it sounded great, and we learned a lot of stuff and rehashed some stuff to some new audience members, I'm sure, that got to hear some really good insights about the Bulldogs and about a whole bunch of stuff. So thank you, mate. You've done a wonderful job, my friend.
Keep up your walking, mate. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
You've got some more motivation now with the support of everyone. Thanks a lot again, guys, for your support.
That's it.
But
That's it.
We will be back again next week. So we should be next week is Team List Tuesday, guys, with our team being named. So be ready for that. Don't expect too many changes.
I don't expect any changes. I was going to talk about that tonight, but I'm not expecting to have any changes to that side really. So
the only thing they might do, guys, is just shuffle the 6-man bench around sometimes. That's all. That's where I think they'll be playing horses for courses. But at the moment, based on the current predictions, it looks like it might be raining in Canberra. I know it's still 9 days away, but the rain is predicted. So thankfully, the banner is water resistant. I've done a good job with that, making it out of canvas. So it doesn't rain, hail, or shine, guys. I'll be hopefully, as Akram always says, getting a sore shoulder, putting that banner up at the Canberra game. So if you're around, guys, come and say hello in the Raiders game. It'll be good fun. Looking forward to it. So see you guys next Tuesday.
And make sure everyone goes and likes the YouTube as well. Like the YouTube like it, share it, help us out as much as you can. I'm over the rain too, Andy. I think Andy's been setting up the TVs for
yes,
the advertising boards for all the World Cup, the Women's World Cup. I'm pretty sure.
Where were you the other day, Andy? I thought I saw you somewhere out of Brisbane. Were you setting up something out of the local area as well?
I think it was at
I thought I might have seen your post somewhere setting up as well. Thanks, Andy, for your comments, mate. Yeah, where have you done? Where have you set up some fields lately, guys? Andy does a lot of I think is it the digital electronic stuff around the grounds.
Yeah.
So he'll do the stuff at Suncorp as well. So we're looking forward to catching up when we go up there this year, guys.
And with signatures, people, obviously we'll do our best as we can with that. As we said, Gas will get it done, but it may not happen as quickly as we want. But if looks like it's going to be a while to get some, Gas might have to we might talk to a couple of people to see if they can get some done for us. We can you can leave them there and they can get them done.
I've got everything set and ready, guys. I've got the Sharpie and the flags all ready for those who've won. So as soon as the opportunity comes up, funny enough, the 5 winners have nominated 5 different players. As it always is, which is fine. There's no issues there. Good. So I will, So I'll have to make sure that I target that correctly. So Seba, Suncorp, Dolphin Stadiums, Queensland flooding is still So Service Tech. So you're doing a good job, guys.
All right.
Doing a good job, people. Guys.
3 hours. That's probably a record tonight. Let's talk again later in the week, people. Come say hello while I'm on my chats. Ask your questions there. It always helps when I'm having a walk. Thank you, Gas. Thank you, everyone. Go the Dogs.
Go the Doggies.
Yo, what up, guys? Want to give a massive shout out to All Things Bulldogs. If you guys haven't watched their podcast, check them out. Let's go.
Hey guys, Tuesday nights, All Things Bulldogs.